What is up, everybody? Jake here with this week's episode of Catch My Drift, and we're doing it live. A couple weeks ago, or last week? No, a couple weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Adam and I had a long talk trying to determine the top 20 games on Nintendo Switch. We were looking for things that called to us. We were looking for impact. We were looking for variety among the list. Anyone on the internet can pull up the top 20 best-selling games on Nintendo Switch. Anybody can go Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart 8, Mario Party, Luigi's Mansion. You know what I mean? We can all do this. But this is our list. And Adam and I, once again, like two neighboring kingdoms becoming one, have tried to put our best onto this top 20 list. Now, I'm getting Adam is double audio. That can't be true. Adam has not said a word yet.
I have. Am I double?
You're right. You are double.
I am double.
You're double. So, Adam, right now, you're coming through on, wow, I can't believe I'm saying this. I cannot believe I actually know how to fix this problem. All right, Adam, give me another talk.
Blah, 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 blah.
I think I fixed it, chat. Wow. My
and
technical.
No, it's not a new setup. I've just moved things around in the background.
Yeah.
As I started a new channel, so there's loads of movement and new crap that I have to change around. But yeah.
But I appreciate chat being on top of it. But it looks like chat here knows what we're doing today. We are trying to organize this list over here. This list over here on the end of your screen, and we're trying to make it the official top 20 list in order. Right now, it's not in order. That's what we're doing today. And we might even be making some additions and subtractions to the list because I have not shared with Adam yet, but I have, what is it? I have around 50 survey responses.
That's good going.
I know. I have about 50 survey responses from the audience from the first video we made making this list. So we've got some pushback. We've got some questions about the list. People have some concerns. But I think the number one piece of feedback I got was in this top 20 list, people want to see it organized. Top 10 first-party games, top 10 everything else. That's what we're looking for today. So I think we're going to adhere to that. But Adam, since making the list, in these past 2 weeks, now we're here, now you're looking at it. Do you have any regrets?
No, I don't think so. I've actually compiled a list. I'm going to do a challenge for myself this year of sort of finishing off the Switch library, the big games that I haven't finished. And as I was going through, looking at all the games I own and games I need to own and want to play, I was expecting to find something. I was like, oh, why isn't that on the list? But no, I actually really, I think the list is a solid list.
Wow. Okay. Adam, before we dive into the list, let me ask you this. Is there any chance that an upcoming, already announced Switch title, maybe the Nintendo World Championship, breaks through on this list?
No.
Is there anything? Yeah.
Because if we think about it, okay, 1,000 Year Door.
Yeah.
Both of us aren't massive fans of Paper Mario, are we? No.
Not really, no.
I like them, but I'd never go as crazy as everyone else does. Then we have Luigi's Mansion 2, which is a good game.
Yeah,
I liked it, but it's nowhere near as good as Luigi's Mansion 1.
Right.
And nowhere near as good as what I've played of Luigi's Mansion 3.
Uh-huh.
And then you have, Jake, any other games on
Metroid Prime 4.
That's going to be a Switch 2 game, as we've discussed.
Oh, okay. All right. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
What other games? Oh, maybe the new Pokemon. Maybe.
Oh, maybe the new Pokemon. Sure. And at which point, if there is a new game that we think we need to alter the list, we will hold an emergency meeting and we will adjust the list. So that's what we will do. Okay. So I say it's time to dive in. And the first thing I want to do is I want to address some viewer feedback, responses from the audience. So last week I put it in a Google form and I said, hey, if you want to be part of the live discussion, if you want your feedback to be heard, your extended feedback, of course, we're going to be looking at chat today, but if you want your extended feedback on our discussion, there's a Google form. Let me know what you think. And once again, I'm paging through over 50 responses here. So I'm just gonna do some call outs. All right, some call outs. I want to call out. Let's see. Who should we hit? Joseph. All right. Joseph says, "Hey Jake and Adam. When asked what game should be on this list but isn't, they said Kirby Forgotten Land. I feel like we either need a Kirby, Metroid, or Splatoon game, and you guys don't have any of them. I choose Kirby because it's open world, and I think that one took the biggest step for the franchise out of all of them."
Kirby is open world.
I yeah, you know what they mean though. It's not, but you know what they mean.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
No, because I think if I was going to put another platformer on it, I don't think Kirby would be the platformer I put on it.
Okay. And I do feel like Kirby will appear in many top 20 Switch game discussions, but I almost wonder, Adam, if it was because it was such a big step for the Kirby franchise more than it was what that game was doing on its own merits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it took it to a different place. And the thing with me, and I said this, and I remember I got a bit of backlash. I forget where I said it.
Okay.
I think it might have been, I don't know where it was, but I said something along the lines of Kirby and the Forgotten Land I enjoy, but if it had a different mascot in it, I would enjoy it more. And it's just because Kirby has never really gelled with me. So, like, if that game had Mario in it, or it had even ukulele, or it had, another mascot, I would be all over it. But there's just something about Kirby that's never really clicked with me.
Can I tell you something that doesn't work with Kirby in that game, actually? Here's a take for you, chat. Here's a take for you. Something that bothers me about Kirby's move to a more 3D space, right, is that I think you imagine Kirby's ability, one of Kirby's primary abilities, of course, beyond sucking people up, is that Kirby can fly, right? Kirby can, puff himself up and fly. And I think that they needed to give Kirby, in his ability to fly, it needed to feel better. It needed to have a little bit more forward momentum. Whereas I feel like Kirby's ability to fly, you just come to a halt. You are not going anywhere. It's not like a fun movement ability. And I think that works more in 2D games where you are just kind of like trying to go up more than you're trying to go like across. Whereas, it doesn't really like help you really explore the 3D space. So I don't know. I what I'm saying is, you said I'd like it if it wasn't Kirby, and I'm like, yeah, because if it wasn't Kirby, you might get somebody who wasn't tied to the way that they've moved in past games, and you might get somebody more interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like I think what Forgotten Land, or did you play Penny's Big Breakaway?
Yeah,
that game kind of is what I would want Kirby to kind of be.
Yeah.
They're similar. Their level designs are similar,
agree.
but then you're given way more, like so much more momentum and more,
Yeah.
like more of a playground to play around. Where I feel like Kirby is just kind of a bit not grounded, but just a bit slow, and there's not really much to his movement.
Yeah, Kirby got the benefit of having a lot of mid games.
Yeah,
I think, you know what I mean? You get that bump. Yeah. You get that, whoa, this is way better than all those mid games. It's like,
it's hands down the best Kirby game I've ever played. Like, hands down.
I think so too. Joseph's last note here is, I am upset we had to give Adam Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope to keep Octopath 2. We need Kingdom Battle instead. Or neither. And I'm surprised Tears of the Kingdom was off instead of Breath of the Wild. I'm not complaining though. I love Breath of the Wild. Well, thank you for your contributions, Joseph. Adam feels very strongly about Sparks of Hope.
Yeah, it's all down to, well, the majority of it's down to the gameplay, that it feels way better to play than Kingdom Battle in my eyes. Because I went to a preview event for it and I played, and I got a couple of battles in, and I was like, oh. And I actually said it to the devs. I was like, just did a really good job here. Like, this feels great to play. One of them actually started crying. And it was a very nice moment anyway to actually talk to somebody who actually created the game face to face. But I love the game so much. I
just think, Adam, that you might have to divorce that experience from the game.
Jake, come on. I have reviewed many games. I would like to think I can divorce experience and personal relationships with people, of which I have almost zero.
All right,
So,
we'll have some polls.
Yeah.
We'll have some polls in the chat to decide. Now, before we dive into the list, there is one thing I do think we need to address before, when we hit individual games, I will hit more individual responses.
Yep.
But the number one response, Adam, can you guess the number one response to our list?
Does it have anything to do with Darksiders?
It does. It does.
The fact that Darksiders
yes.
is on a top 20 Switch list?
The most popular response to which game should be off this list is Darksiders. Let me read from Lamp.
That's the wrong response.
Lamp wrote in and said, "So sorry, Adam. I love your takes. I love that you expose me to new games and ideas. But you and I are very different. I have no idea what Darksiders is. I am sure it's great, but I have never heard of it. And for that reason, I would not keep it on this list." Another response, Adam.
Come on, just keep reading them. Just keep reading them, Jay. Keep reading
them. Listen, I will say most of the responses that talked about Darksiders like this were very complimentary to you and appreciative of you. And I think that, yeah, I know. And I think there was a lot of politeness in this community. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. This is from The Boiling Frog. The Boiling Frog says, Darksiders, a game synonymous with the Nintendo Switch. Wait a second. I am not taking crazy pills. What is wrong with you two? There is no way this game should appear on a top 20 Switch list. I understand that it might offer something that the other Nintendo Switch games do not. But what is the Metacritic on that game? Probably not even very good.
No. I'm not taking the Metacritic argument. Darksiders is a perfectly good game.
Okay. Okay.
I understand. Well, actually, Darksiders, the original, 83% on Metacritic.
Its moment was on the Xbox 360, and to discount so many great Switch games just because it has a performance mode is absolutely absurd.
But find me another game on the Nintendo Switch that has a 30 FPS and a 60 FPS mode. Look, I understand. It's definitely an out there pick. That's why it was a drift.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's just something about that. To me, as I said in the video, to me, a Darksiders game is a Zelda game. It's a more mature Zelda game. So, yes, its moment wasn't on the Nintendo Switch, but it does feel right at home on the Switch. And, as I said, it runs at 60 FPS and 30 FPS, which I think is extremely unique.
Will time be kind to this take, Adam?
Yes, because I think Darksiders has already had its moment, and I don't think it was either overly rated or underrated. I think it was sort of perfectly rated. People agree that the Darksiders series, the first one specifically, they're solid games.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think age will change anything. Because I only played Darksiders. To be honest now, and this is one thing that would affect my sort of decision, is that my first time playing this game was on the Switch.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I hear you though. I hear you. It's I think when we're making our list, it's important for us to, we're not saying it had to launch on Nintendo Switch or it had to be exclusive to Nintendo Switch, but I think you and I both understand that those things bring a certain level of value to titles. It's not all of the value, but it is some. So it is a point of consideration, but it is not the entire point of consideration. I will say, every time I load up this trailer and give it a little watch, it is kind of fun. It is kind of like, I don't know. It's like, do I want to play this more than I want to play Bayonetta on Switch? Kinda.
I think so.
Like, I kind of do. If I'm being honest.
I'm telling you, it's a genuinely good game. Like, I would recommend it if you think you would want a Zelda style, 3D beat 'em up / Metroidvania kind of game. It's one of the best ones out there.
All right, chat. You heard it here first. That's Now, Bison in the Hour makes the point that whoops. That was I had a brief technical difficulty there,
Penny's
chat.
Big Breakaway had a performance mode on Switch. It did.
Yep.
It came after launch. Apparently my sound is gone.
No. It's back. It's back. I thought I was taking away the YouTube video, but I actually took away.
Okay.
Yeah. My bad. But yeah. Okay. So chat makes a couple of chat is bringing up Bison Howard does say that Penny's Big Breakaway has gotten an update on Switch and it has a performance mode. Does that alone make you want to go over to Penny's Big Breakaway? Because for me, Adam, I got to be honest. I've checked out that performance mode on Penny's. It's one, not that great.
Yeah,
but I don't think that game. I don't think Penny's speaks to me on Switch. I think it speaks to me on PlayStation.
I played it on PlayStation,
yeah,
but I don't think it speaks to me more on either console. I think it feels it fits on both. Yeah. And that game is. I've never played it on the Switch, but the more I look at it out of the platformers on it. I think Penny's Big Breakaway, I don't know how that game only got like 70% on Metacritic or something. I don't understand it because that game is brilliant. Like, the second you get in, when you play Penny's Big Breakaway, it takes a while to get used to. But then once you get into that rhythm and you're using the momentum of your swing and you're launching down and then you're rolling on the ground, you're picking up all of this speed and just learning how to speed through the levels. Yeah. It feels absolutely fantastic. It feels like when 3D Sonic is at its best. That's what it feels like to me.
But not good enough to make the top 20 list.
Just because I don't think it's like...
It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
I don't think it fits. I don't think it kind of has a home on... It's kind of agnostic, you know? So
yeah. Penny's Big Breakaway will live on beyond the Switch in different ways. I understand. There's an intangible quality we're going for here. Okay. Adam, I think it's time we dive into the list. Now, I actually think the best way to attack this is that we do what the chat suggested, and we have the top 10 Nintendo games, first party games, top 10 everything else.
Yes.
So let's convert Catch into Ninty and Drift into Nanti. That's right. Okay. So I think the first thing we need to do is identify what the number one game on our list is. And we'll have everything drop off from there.
Oh, we're starting at number one.
I think we start with number one. Every video game podcast I've ever listened to that does a list, they save number one to the end. And it makes it this weird conversation where they're all like, oh, well, we'll talk about that later. We'll get to that later. We'll do blah, 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 blah. I'm going to hedge my speech a little. No, stupid. Not one sets the tone about what is important, what we're looking for, what the standard is. We do one first.
Okay.
We do one first, Adam. So what is number one on this list? Chat, what is number one on this list?
I know what my number one is. I'll wait for
you know what your number one. Okay, let's give chat a moment. Let's give chat a moment. All right. Chat, please look at the list. Take it in. For anybody that's maybe you're doing the dishes, maybe you're folding some laundry, you can't look at your screen, you're only hearing my sweet voice. To remind you, Smash Ultimate, Ring Fit Adventure, Super Mario 3D World, The World Ends With You, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Adam, you want to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Octopath 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3. And then I think I think that's it for Nintendo first party. Okay. Which is what we're talking about. We'll do the non-teas. So this is for the ninties. All right. Let's see what we got in chat. Hide on Bush says Mario Odyssey. Blue BL3U says Breath of the Wild. Casual Dude says Smash. Bison says Jake is gonna say Ring Fit because he got shredded playing it. Hell yeah, Bison, dude. Hell yeah. Oh man, I see my Ring Con. It's right over there, dude. I can grab it.
I don't even know where mine is.
Dang, Adam. I'm still playing it. I'm still playing Ring Fit. Yeah. Adam, please tell the people what is the number one spot on the Ninty list.
Now, Jake, this shouldn't be controversial.
This shouldn't be controversial.
No, it shouldn't be. It has to be Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Wow, Adam. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. You're saying the Nintendo Switch peaked with the very first game that released for the platform, which was in fact also on the Nintendo Wii U.
Yes.
Tell me why. Tell me why Breath of the Wild is the best game on Nintendo Switch.
Well, I think we only need to go as far to say that once every generation or two, there is a game that comes out that not only defines a generation, not only defines a genre, but also is so innovative that every single game that comes after it in its genre is inspired by it. And if you think of what sort of pushed the open world genre past what Ubisoft did, it's Breath of the Wild. Every single open world game has to have a hand glider now. I don't think Breath of the Wild was the first one to do it, but they were the ones that everyone knows about. A lot of them have to have, you can climb all this stuff. You need to have stamina. You need to have all of these different things that Breath of the Wild brought in. And even with Tears of the Kingdom, which I personally think is better, if we're talking about games that define the Switch, I think it's Breath of the Wild, and that's number one.
Adam, I loved every single thing you said, except for you do think Tears of the Kingdom is better.
Yeah.
It bothers me so much.
But yeah, I know. But we went through this.
I know.
I just think I just want expression in games, and Tears of the Kingdom is like the definition of expression. But when we're talking about moments, that launch day, when you pick up your Switch from GameStop, you walk home, you don't go into college for like a week, you just play Breath of the Wild straight, you put like, God knows, like 30, 40 hours into it in 1 week, and you are just you just get lost in a world like no other open world game has ever done before it. And the only game that has ever done it since is Tears of the Kingdom and Elden Ring. So, like, we are how many years on? 7 years on now, and that's 2 games that have matched or equaled it or surpassed it, and one of them is made by the same people, and then the other one is made by From Software, who are probably my favorite developer of all time. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Breath of the Wild here. Breath of the Wild. Impact. Definitely, no question, one of the most impactful video games to the gaming industry of all time. Okay. You're talking about the Legend of Zelda video game franchise, which has always been a huge deal in the video game culture, right? But has never had the big daddy sales, if you will, until Breath of the Wild. And there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I just think in terms of reach, the amount of people that game touched, massive, absolutely massive. You touched on it a little bit. That launch day feeling, getting the Nintendo Switch, having this handheld console, having this massive world in that little thing. Dear God, that was a special feeling. Hard to catch that. And I gotta say, I even think over Tears of the Kingdom, I think that Breath of the Wild, in that impact, in that wave heard across the industry, I do think Breath of the Wild will prove to be ultimately more impactful than Tears of the Kingdom. Whereas Tears of the Kingdom I find to be a more iterative experience on top of a lot of the stuff that Breath of the Wild accomplished in the first place.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
No, it is. It is. I still prefer it, but we can argue. We can argue that till the cows come home.
I know. But I also just think, that aside, looking at it in a vacuum, just looking at this video game, right? Thinking about this video game, what this video game was able to accomplish. I think, that's a Tears of the Kingdom trailer. I was like, ew. It took me 2 seconds, Adam. I saw the picture they were painting, and I was, ew. No. Okay, look at this. Look at the way this trailer goes, man. The vibes. Nintendo, not the graphical powerhouse, not the technical marvels, and yet the vibes, the environment, the art design, saying, look at these vistas, look at these places. Don't you have lost your memory. You don't know what any of these places are. Don't you want to go poke around in them? And I go, yes, I do. Because there's something about the design of it. There is something about the the way that they are able to, without anything telling you, without anything poking you along in that game, prod you into wanting to explore. And I really think that that is the beauty of that game, is that it is like, man, remember that feeling, Adam, of you take like 10 steps in any direction and you find something? How is that possible, dude?
I really don't know. And again, I know I'm gonna talk more about Tears of the Kingdom in a discussion about Breath of the Wild, but it's just the fact that just how masterful Nintendo are at just game design. Like, there's so many people that want to be able to do what Nintendo can do, and they just can't. Even the most sort of aimless, if you want to put it in air quotes, not negatively, but aimless open world games do not achieve what Breath of the Wild does, or Tears of the Kingdom, in just that sense of exploration. And as you said, you just walk 10 steps this way, you'll find a camp. You walk 10 steps that way, you'll find a cave. You walk, or in any of the other ones, you walk 10 steps over here, you'll find, I don't know, like an island in the middle of the water that you've just no idea what it is. And it's just unbelievable. And one thing that this really proved to me is that when Bethesda games come out and they're always buggy,
of course,
and everyone's like, oh, they're these they're these big massive open world games,
the scope,
all these interactive elements, and of course there's going to be things that are janky, which I personally don't mind. I love AA games and I love Bethesda games, but the fact that you play Breath of the Wild and again Tears of the Kingdom as well, and there's almost zero bugs, zero crashes, zero glitches, it's an absolute masterpiece of a game. Like, it's, for years, I still need to like come to terms with this in my head and actually sit down with my list. But for years, ever since I was a kid, Majora's Mask was my favorite game. Nothing ever dethroned it. I think The Last of Us Part 1 came close to it when I played that, because that really opened my eyes to what like video games can be narrative-wise and stuff. And then Breath of the Wild comes around, and it still hasn't taken the spot from Majora's Mask, just because I love Majora's Mask that much. But it's probably the game that has come closest to it. And then Tears of the Kingdom, even though I haven't beaten it, came slightly closer than that. But even at that, it's just amazing that they've come even closer to Majora's Mask in my eyes.
Yeah. Adam, I feel very similarly to you. Majora's Mask is high on my personal list. I also like Link Between Worlds, the 3DS one, a lot. But this was the one for me that I think I can confidently say that Breath of the Wild is my favorite Zelda game of all time. Yeah, I think it's crossed that threshold for me personally. And I will say, just to speak a little less on the macro, more to the micro, for me as an individual, Breath of the Wild, I think something that really speaks to me about this game in a post Tears of the Kingdom world is that I think a lot of game design in big franchises, especially in like sequels, I think something that bugs me is when I can tell somebody has run out of ideas when their game design push is, what if we made you God? What if we just wouldn't that be fun if we gave you every tool? And I think it's easy to see this in a lot of games, but the one that I point to, because I think it paints a good picture, is Animal Crossing. I think like the original Animal Crossing game on GameCube, there was like a sweet charm to that game about like being a little person in this world and doing the small subtleties of what you could do. And then I think future Animal Crossings make you God. Whereas in the newest one on Switch, all of a sudden you can reshape the earth and it's turned into, and I don't know. And I see this in so many games. And I think like Breath of the Wild compared to Tears of the Kingdom, the limitations, the restraint, that moment in Breath of the Wild where you're just about to get to the edge of a cliff you are climbing up, and you just get there with your last little bit of stamina, and you just made it, and that sense of like, oh my god, I like mathed it out to the very edge of my abilities, and I got there, and I did this little short-term goal. That to me is like perfect, like is the word I want to use. And I think once you start giving people more and more powers and more like, oh my god, you can break the game this way. It's like, I don't want to break the game. I know that that's fun, but that's not the experience that I'm looking for at this point in my gaming citizenship. So just for me personally, I feel like Breath of the Wild is a world of like limitations and like skill and mindset. And I really love how it's like kind of I bet you like this too, Adam. It's kind of like the roguelite thing in me, where the first time you meet one of those guys, the Guardians, it's like the scariest thing you've ever encountered in the world. And you go, how am I ever going to beat this? And then you play the game for a while and you go, oh no, this is easy. I can take this thing, no problem.
All day, yeah.
And the only thing that changed was your confidence and your knowledge. And I freaking love that in this game, dude. It's so amazing. It's an absolutely beautiful game. I'm perfectly happy to have this in the number one spot on our list.
Yeah, well, Jay, to me it sounds like I've always had this idea for Breath of the Wild 2 before Tears of the Kingdom came out.
Yeah.
Or even a DLC for Breath of the Wild where it was Breath of the Wild, but you had the mask from Majora's Mask. So.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that would
Yeah. So it's like you still have them limitations that you're talking about, but you have those transformations that you can do, and you can when I'm in water, I can change to Azora, and when I'm like when I go down a mountain, I can do this, and I can change it with Deku Scrub to reach to like get up and stuff. And I think that would be my perfect if Miyamoto employed me. He was like, all right, Adam, Ayanuma, he's getting thrown out. We don't want him. You are making Breath of the Wild 2. That's what it would have been. It would have been similar to Tears of the Kingdom, because I think it needed to be darker if you wanted to have the mask from Majora's Mask, but then just bring the masks in instead of having the Ultra Hand.
Yeah, I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot. That Ultra Hand, to me, it's like, what if we gave gamers the debug menu?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But I can understand.
It bugs me. It bugs me.
Yeah,
I know you know where I'm coming from. I know you know. Yeah, I know you know. But it's fun. It's like, I know.
Jake, did you not build a bridge with a load of mine carts to get over to an island that you could have just walked into a cave and get over to? They're the moments that Tears of the Kingdom gives you.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I could talk about this forever. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like Breath of the Wild in the number one spot. Now, Adam, on the non-T list.
Yes.
Let's determine the number one spot over on the non-T list here. Now, we're looking at games like we've got The World Ends With You, we've got Octopath Traveler 2, we've got Darksiders, Shovel Knight, Cuphead, Celeste, Dragon Quest XI-S, Binding of Isaac, Dicey Dungeons, and Cadence of Hyrule.
This is when it gets a bit harder, I think.
This is when it gets harder because I think I have the answer with a bullet.
I think you do. I think I know the answer, and I don't think any answer that I give will dissuade the audience or you from putting it in the spot. So
I think we might. We might have to do a poll. We might have to have the audience be the tiebreaker. But please. What are you thinking?
Well, I think what you are going to say and what the audience is going to say is Celeste.
Okay.
That is what I'd put on it. But I think we'll put that as the preliminary first one at the top of the list. Because again, I just don't them platforms just don't speak to me. But I understand why so many people love Celeste.
I think you should give it another try, Adam.
I think you should give it another try. I've tried it so much. Just I love platformers and I enjoy 2D platformers, but I don't like really, really hard 2D platforms. Actually, that's weird. I really like Super Meat Boy, but I don't like Celeste.
I think you should.
Should I say? Not that I don't like Celeste. It just doesn't click with me. Yeah,
and I think it might be worth trying again. Do you have a Switch OLED? Is an OLED your Switch that you have?
Yeah.
All right, I would recommend just give it another shot. Just one day. Just one day.
I'll
give
do
it
it for you.
Shot. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, it is in fact my number one non-T. I just to speak about it a little bit. I do think that there is a kind of a beauty in the game design of Celeste, where what your character is doing and thinking in the world of this video game, I think is reflective of what the game is asking you, the player, to do. And the fact that they are able to, oh my God, I forgot these people created Towerfall 2. What a freaking video game. Oh my God. But yeah, I don't know. In literature, Adam, we have this thing called an objective correlative. Okay. And it's like something in a story that changes and moves along with symbolic meaning along with whatever the kind of you're trying to say about the theme. So it's like in this game, it's about climbing a mountain. But the mountain isn't just the mountain. The mountain is all this other stuff. And the way that they are able to twist and manipulate emotionally what this mountain is to the character as you are playing this game, and the way that aligns with the twisting and manipulating of the different platforming challenges in the game is like perfect. They're able to keep those things in lockstep with each other. So anytime something happens in the game, you know, most platformers, it's like, okay, you're getting further in the game, so the game needs to get harder, which is the explanation for why the platforming is harder here than it was at the beginning. And in this game, they say, what if we justified it? What if we did something with our character in their mental and emotional space that aligned with the platforming challenges in the world of the game? And what that does for me is that it makes it so much more meaningful. And something that I miss in a lot of 2D platformers is memorability and meaning. I find that you're playing 2D platformers for very little outside of it feels good. I like how it feels. And I've always just thought that's good for a while, but it's not enough to get me through a game, and it's often not enough to ever make me play a 2D platformer a second time. It's never enough to make me go back a second time, because it's like, okay, now that I've seen what it does, I've gotten all the enjoyment out of it I can. But because this game cares about its meaning, I feel that like a movie, it's worth starting from the beginning and like playing again and experiencing the emotional journey that the character goes on in a way that if you just watched like a bunch of cutscenes or videos on YouTube, you would not be able to experience in the same way, because the game wants you, the player, to get frustrated at certain points, to die and die and die and die. That's like part of the game. So yeah. Beautiful game, extremely good. Are they ever gonna come out with a new game? These people?
I don't know. When was that released? Was it 2018?
7 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, you made a very strong point there, or a very strong argument there, Jake.
It's a beautiful game.
I think that's why maybe it doesn't click with me, and it's probably why Hades doesn't click with me either. It's just I don't mind a narrative game if it's a narrative game first, if you get me. Like, it presents like a narrative game,
of course,
whereas with like Hades presents like a roguelike, Celeste presents like a 2D platformer. So in my head, I go to it because I like, that's why I like Super Meat Boy. Maybe that, well, there you go, that's why I like Super Meat Boy and why I don't like Celeste. That Super Meat Boy doesn't give you all this narrative and everything. It's probably like, you know, speaks to, you know, it's very highbrow Celeste. And, you know, you never want to sit there and make that argument yourself that like, oh, this is for a more sophisticated gamer. But I think that's what it is. Like that is what it is. And I think that's what Hades is to roguelikes as well. And it's probably that attention to the narrative is probably the thing that takes Hades and Celeste to that sort of almost 10 out of 10 status as many people put them in. And whereas the other games are like, this is a fantastic platform and has really good mechanics. It might have like cool designs and maybe some interesting levels. But after that, it just stops and that's it. It doesn't transcend anything other than it being a game. And I think that's probably what Celeste and Hades do.
Yeah.
But that's just not what I look for in them styles of game. In like 2D platformers or roguelikes or whatever.
You and I are talking about the difference between a song and an album. You're there for the songs. And I'm there going, no, but I want the whole thing. I want, if you take something out of context, you're actually one level in the middle. You're actually not getting the full experience. And
it's actually funny because I listen to music in that way.
Right.
I listen to it like as an album and not a song. And then you get a different appreciation for it. But I think it's just down to the way I play games, I guess.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think that's good. I think something I like about doing discussions like this is less about the list and more about this moment. How like why something gets to us and speaks to us. You know, so I don't know. Audience, I hope that was interesting for you. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be one of the least controversial ones here. I think it gets harder after this, which is why I wanted to start with these. Yeah.
Okay, so now I think we go back up to the Ninties and we do the number 2 slot. This is tough. This will probably be the toughest decision we make all day.
Yes.
Okay. Adam, what is your... Yeah, please.
So I'm between two if we're talking about relevance to the Nintendo Switch, the moment they released.
Yeah.
And both of them are Mario games.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Yep. And I'm going with Mario Odyssey is my number 2.
Mario Odyssey.
And
okay.
Obviously, Mario Kart was the other one. But I think for the reason why Mario Odyssey will take number 2 is because it's more relevant to the Switch. But not only is it more relevant to the Switch, this is where we go back to it, Jake, when we talk about I like to experience games that feel good.
Yeah.
And I mean, you think of it, a platformer that feels good, and it's Super Mario Odyssey. It's the best controlling character in a game ever created, in just playgrounds that just let you do whatever, or it feels like it lets you do whatever you want, but you can't actually, because obviously there's limitations to Mario's movement. But one thing that I really like about this game, and I know a lot of people don't, is that I think they really took into account the Switch when they were making it. Like, I think when you play Breath of the Wild, even though Breath of the Wild is great on the Switch, I don't think it is good for 10-15-minute playthroughs on a bus, sessions on a bus.
Right.
But Mario Odyssey, and a lot of people had issues with this when the game came out, but Mario Odyssey, I'd go to college, I'd bring my Switch, I'd be on the bus for 15 minutes, and in that time, I could get 1 or 2 moons, or maybe one that was like a really difficult moon that would take me 15 minutes, and it would feel like every single play session was satisfying. And I know a lot of people say that it kind of, diminished each moon. Like, it felt like some of the moons were kind of, that one was just out in the open, that wasn't a challenge. But I think when you take it into the context of it being on the Switch, it meant that every single time I picked that game up, it felt like I did something, rather than I then got 20% more into whatever my current objective is. It's like I completed 2 or 3 objectives in that time. And I think that's why it's number 2. And another thing that I really like is how inventive the levels are. There's nothing really too much to say about that, other than I think every single level is unique, and probably the most unique out of any of the Mario games, the 3D Mario games.
Do you see what I have on screen right now for everybody?
Yes.
Can you believe, before Mario Odyssey came out, if you showed me this screenshot, I would literally be like losing my mind.
Yep.
Like, what is going on, dude? I think inventive is a good word. I also just think like it's not it's like bold in a way, right? Because you're going on an Odyssey, you're going to these like crazy worlds, and I think it would be so easy for Nintendo to be like, all right, there's the ice world, there's the desert world, there's the underwater, and those are there. Those are definitely there. But like, if this is a game about exploration, to go to a place like New Donk City, again, another screenshot. If you just took this before the Switch was announced and showed it to us, could you imagine oh my god, dude, just absolutely insane. And isn't it funny that you can talk on and on and on about this game before you even mention the hat throwing mechanic?
Yeah.
Man. What is that? Like, I don't know, man. There's something special about this game. Adam, would you say that this is the best 3D Mario game? Would you say that?
Yes. It's the one I've played. It's the one I've played the most. And I mean, the only other 2 that come close to it, I think, are Galaxy 1 and 2. I personally prefer Galaxy 1. But again, I just go back to that feeling of expression and sort of how many tools Mario has at his disposal to just jump and flip and throw the hat and jump out onto it and then jump up again and do all this stuff. And yeah, I just love Mario Odyssey. And again, it just came out in the launch year. I've very fond memories of playing this game when I was sick in bed, and I played the game for like a whole weekend when it came out, just straight. And I think part of the thing that Nintendo gets so right is that regardless of what age I am, their games still transport you back to just almost like a childlike state. Because I can remember being sick and playing Mario 64 or Like, insert any Mario game here. Like, I was off school, sick, playing it in my room, and then there I am. What age was I? I was 19 in 2017, and I was still doing the exact same thing, and it just feels like you're a child again. And as much as almost, you know, the way like Disney adults get kind of ripped to shreds on the internet, I think every single person has that in them. It just it manifests in a different way, and that's how that manifests in me, is that playing old Nintendo games or playing old PlayStation games or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I'm trying to identify why I am so appreciative of Mario Odyssey specifically and why it speaks to me, and I actually think that the Disney comparison is maybe like a really good one. Just because I think like children's movies and animation and stuff, it's really good at producing just kind of like iconic, memorable imagery and sentimentality. And I think like Mario Odyssey comes out and Smash Brothers is coming, you almost are like, oh, Cappy's got to be in there. Like, Cappy is a thing that now it created this thing that Mario has never had, that we're all like, I mean, hey, that could be part of Mario. And it's like this stupid hat with the eyeballs or whatever. And there's something about that. There's something about that just like, I don't know. It's like Bowser in the wedding suit. Like, why does that? It's just, it like sticks, man. And I think like so many game companies, but also just like entertainers across the board, wish that they could create stuff that sticks the way that Nintendo is able to do. Like, they're able to create these iconic, memorable things and make it look easy. But yeah, it's funny. Like, the big complaint about this game, you touched on it a little bit, is the too many moons thing. And I think the too many moons thing is so funny because the only person devaluing the moons in your mind is you. Like, I've never understood that complaint. I always thought it was weird. And I don't know, man. I think the whole point is kind of like Zelda. If you choose to go off and investigate something, if you are pulled somewhere and you go explore, the game rewards you by having a little moon at the end. And that's good. That's good. It's the game never tells you collect every single moon because you're not supposed to. It's just about, on your adventure, making sure wherever you go, wherever you are called to, that you are rewarded for that. And I don't know. I think that just makes sense to me. Yeah. Odyssey, good game.
Now I want to play it again.
Even though
I think I've collected like probably 90% of the moons or something.
I started it over maybe last year and started playing it, and I was having a good time. I almost want to do like you and me loaded up at the same time. We have our screens right next to each other, and we like race or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, we could do the Luigi balloon races, Jake.
Oh, I love those. That's underrated.
I've never done them.
Underrated. That was fun. When that came out, I spent a surprising amount of time doing those Luigi moon races, just because it was really fun to be Mario and control Mario and be like, and I felt like I got so good at it. The stupid hat throw, the dive, the whole thing. Yeah, really good.
Did you do the jumping rope?
Of course.
Yeah, that one was tough.
Of course. Yeah, that was a great time though. Oh my god. What a game. What a game. Really makes you wonder what that next Mario game will be, but I think no matter what it is, Mario Odyssey on Switch, I think it's, for me, Adam, it's easily the Mario game on Switch.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, like way more than Wonder.
Yeah, 3D Mario just has overshadowed 2D Mario since it came out, really. It's like when you think of the Wii, you don't think of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, you think of Galaxy.
Wow, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
that's funny. All right. All right. So I like what we're doing here. I feel like what this discussion really is a little trip down memory lane for the Switch, which I think is fun because a lot of people are focused on a lot of people are really focused on that Switch 2 right now. So it's kind of fun to do this. Man, dude, that first year of Switch, having like I've never been the biggest like Zelda or Mario person, to be honest. Like I've always liked them, but I've never been the biggest. And then in that first year of Switch, to have a Zelda game and go, I think this is my favorite Zelda game ever. And then have a Mario game and I go, I think this is my favorite Mario game ever. That is OP.
Yep.
OP, dude. That is insane. Oh my god.
All the while having Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in the background. That, like,
oh my god.
Probably
Splatoon 2.
Hours, 60, 70 hours in 1 year in, just played it constantly.
Yeah, I mean, I personally went psycho with ARMS, but dude,
only you, Jake.
last week, Adam, I re-downloaded ARMS. I re-downloaded.
And you still play it?
I suck now. I suck.
But are the servers still up? Yes.
Yes, I play it online.
Oh.
Yeah, and Adam, I that game is so much harder than I gave it credit for. It is so hard. It is mechanically dense. I understand why people bounced off of it now. It is hard to wrap your head around and be good. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, great. I'm happy with keeping Mario Odyssey in the number 2 spot for now.
For now.
For now.
Go on, Jake.
For now.
Yeah.
For now. Let's talk about the non-T number 2 spot. I would like to nominate. This is tough.
Don't do it, Jake.
It's tough. I'd like to nominate The World Ends With You. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Nomination. Nomination. No. Listen. I think that in my own personal brain, this number 2 slot, it's like everyone is tied, you know. But if I got to put something there, I think I was really called to 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the game, just the argument that was being made. I don't know. I think it's a special and important video game in a way that games are rarely special and important. The World Ends With You. This is an action RPG about a teenager that dies in Shibuya, Japan. Okay. And he is forced into playing a game, the Reaper's game, they call it, to maybe win back his life. He can come back from the dead if he competes and wins this game. Everyone has paid a price in this game, and they have had to pay the thing they hold most dear. That is what they have paid to participate in this game. And for our main character, it's his memory. He does not have his memory of who he was before this. And I think that this is something you're going to hear me talk about a lot if you listen to me talk about games. But the way that this game, I think, blends what it is in the video game sense, what it wants you to do structurally, and then what the main character is feeling and how they want you to align with that character, those things are together the whole game. So, for example, you kind of see this explanation of how the controls work in this game, and you've got your main character you're playing as here, Neku, and then you've got like a little partner over off to the side. In this case, it's Shiki. And in this game, something that's really important to the main character is learning the value of working with others, but also not just like being open to working with others, but kind of like how you do that. How are you a good partner? How are you a good listener? How are you a good team player? What does that look like to show up for somebody else and support them? And the game is concerned with that in its text, but its combat, what you're doing when you actually play the game says, okay, you actually, with both of your hands, you have one hand controlling one character and another hand controlling another, which means sometimes you're more focused on you, sometimes you're more focused on the partner. How can you find that perfect balance, that perfect blend? What does that look like when you are playing in the action combat of this video game? And that's what the text is concerned with. So to figure that out is not... Oh, no.
Yes?
I just got a notification on my computer that OBS Studio disconnected and was reconnect. But then it said it's reconnecting, and everything looks fine.
Yeah, okay. There's no one saying anything in chat.
Okay, phew. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think we're all good. It looks right. Let me. I have. All right. I can pull up the stream.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
we're back.
We're back. We're back. Oh, dang. Okay. I wonder how much.
Jake, they probably just missed your whole
Oh, jeez.
monologue
God.
about.
I think it was maybe only for a second. Yeah. I don't know what that was. But anyways, my whole point is that a game about building bonds, a game about finding balance between you and another, forcing you in the game to say, how are you going to find the balance here? And so many games, Adam, are so concerned with making the player comfortable at all times. Holding your Spider-Man video games, right? The complexities of being Peter Parker, of being Spider-Man in combat, it is distilled in a way, the web swinging, it is distilled in a way where the game doesn't want you to mess up. It never wants you to fail. And this game says, you're going to feel uneasy doing this, especially the first time. And hopefully, if we did our job right, as the game goes on, as these characters grow closer together, you will grow better at balancing their needs in combat and doing what needs to be done. That is a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's a game that I played in. When did it come out on the Switch? Was it
5 years ago?
5 years ago. Okay. So I didn't play it when it came out on the Switch. I think I got it maybe a year or two after. And I think it's one of them games that firstly, I think it reminds me a lot of Kingdom Hearts. I mean, Nomura did a lot.
Totally.
Yeah. And I think there's something to Kingdom Hearts and to The World Ends With You where when you play it, you feel that the game is special. But it's almost not until you've played the game multiple times is how you are, until you realize what makes the game special. And that's me with The World Ends With You right now. And I understand there was people in the chat talking about how it's much better on the DS and how the Switch version is a bit meh, which is obviously very true. I played it in handheld mode, which I think is the best way to play it. And if you play it in handheld mode, it's actually like an almost, not exactly 1-to-1, but you know what I mean. It's a fairly accurate, like a good way to play it. But I am still sitting here thinking about The World Ends With You after playing it probably 3 or 4 years ago. And outside of how stylish the game is, how memorable the character designs are, how, I don't know, there was just the stakes in you just had this tension in you during the whole story, similar to Majora's Mask, where you just kind of feel like, you know, there's literally a ticking time bomb on you, which there is. And even now, I want to go back and play it again, and I think I might go back and play it on the DS to experience it on the DS. And I think finally then, after experiencing it twice, I will be able to fully understand what I love about it. Because I had that same experience with Kingdom Hearts. I've played Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3, all the Kingdom Hearts games, all the main ones in the collection so far. And it wasn't until I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 multiple times, and then I was like, oh yeah, this is why these games are special. But I think at first glance, they still have that special feel.
Yeah, and I think part of the special feel is that they're taking a risk with that combat and the way that it works, and it makes it different from other games. And I've been playing Neo: The World Ends With You, and it's such a bummer, Adam, because I think they sacrificed what made it special, and they said, we want to appeal to more people. We're gonna make the combat a little easier. We're gonna make it, and it takes away from that symbolic meaning that only games are able to accomplish. And I think even somebody that doesn't articulate it the way that I articulate it plays Neo: The World Ends With You and goes, something about this isn't right. Something about this is different. It's not as special. And I think that's what they're sensing. Please. No, please.
No, and it's not only, I think a lot of it is lost. That specialness is lost when you transfer things from 2D to 3D. Yeah, and it's like the difference between when you play like a really beautiful hand-drawn 2D art style game, it stands out in your mind so much more than if that game was a 2.5D or a 3D platformer, say, for argument's sake. And to me, it's kind of like when you have a 3D game in your head, you can kind of put yourself in that world. And at that stage, at some points, it's not a game. It's almost a place that you can visualize. But for me, when I see 2D art, it's like that is a work of art.
Yeah,
Whereas
sure.
whereas 3D is like they're 3D models in an environment that was built in a computer. But then when you look at 2E, you're like, that is art. Like that is just pure art. You could draw Neku, paint them, put them in a museum, and you would walk and you'd be like, I like that.
It's far more intentional, whereas a lot of 3D stuff is functional.
Yep.
And that's kind of the difference being made there. And I think even something I just want to highlight, just from like a writing perspective with The World Ends With You, is that I find it to be extremely like salient, and I'm even gonna say just good. The idea of the Reaper's game is a good idea. The concept of this character who keeps to himself and constantly has headphones on, and the enemies that you fight in this Reaper's game are just so coincidentally called noise. And it's like, you know, fighting to keep the noise away while staring at this character throughout the entire game who's putting his headphones on and keeping his distance from other people. And like the risk of letting people in, the risk of fighting the noise, like all of this stuff it's such good double writing, and it works so well. I really wish there was like a movie of I wish there was like an adaptation or something that.
Well,
that
there is an anime that follows.
I know, but yeah, I wish there was a take on it. I don't know. It's learning to embrace the noise even by Act 3, says Jethro. Yeah, exactly. There's just so much. There's so much in here. It's really good and special. And I think even the way this trailer is cut, where like you see they paint this character and he's like taking off his headphones a little bit, and the next shot you get is of course of like his friend. Like that's on purpose. Like that's storytelling. I don't know. There's like, oh, now I'm like reaching out to this person or whatever, you know? And I don't know. It's man, this game is so intentional. It is so special. It is so unique. So that's why I want to put it in the spot that it's in on our list. Yeah.
Because it did a very important job of bringing that game to a way wider audience, because I mean you can always emulate it on the DS, but
yep,
the cartridge is probably what, like I think it's probably €200 over here or something. It's ridiculous price. So.
And I think something I want to make clear to people is that to the people that are like, oh my god, but it's so much better on the DS. I get where you're coming from, but I would also add that if you start playing it on Switch and you go, oh, these controls are a little weird, I think it was better on the DS. I think you are actually just feeling what the game wants you to feel. You played it a lot on DS maybe, and you got used to it. But the first time you played it on DS, you were definitely like, how am I supposed to... Look up the reviews to The World Ends With You. You'll see so many people being like, oh, the controls are not perfect to this. And I'm like, brother, you need to make your peace with that. That is part of the game. So if you find yourself playing this on Switch and you go, I feel like I can't... You know, we play so many games, right? We're video game players. How long does it take you or me, Adam, to completely wrap our hands around any video game's controls? 25 minutes?
If even, sometimes
if
almost
even.
Instantly, yeah.
Yeah, and I think to be confronted by a game that asks more of you than that is a big ask, because it's assaulting our status quo with our relationship with this medium. So I don't know. So that's my defense of it.
So with that argument, Jake, you're saying that Snake Pass should be on the naughty list, because that's exactly what that did as well.
Listen, Snake Pass. I think Snake Pass is pretty good.
Yeah, Snake Pass is good. It's €2 on PSN. I'm actually gonna buy it and platinum it.
Dude, I love that guy. I love that little snake. All right, cool. The World Ends With You, number 2 on the Nanti.
Jake,
all right,
Mario Odyssey is on the list twice.
Oh, my mistake. All right. As much as I love making impassioned speeches,
look, Joy Pay says Snake Pass goated, and Jetro says I was worried there was about to be Snake Pass slander, and he was ready to unsub. No, don't worry. Snake Pass is a brilliant game, and it gelled well with the Switch because it was a launch title as well.
I gotta give it to them for that, like, snake guy, like the icon, the main snake.
Yeah,
I remember that snake. Like, that snake is burned in my brain for some reason. I like that guy.
Yep, he's cool. It's just a unique game, and I think if I were to make a list of, say, top 30 or 40 games on the Switch, I think Snake Pass will be on it.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually have to go back and I think give that game another.
If I remember correctly, it doesn't run amazingly on the Switch.
I thought maybe that was the case too. In case people don't know what we're talking about, I've actually pulled it up here. So yeah, oh man, this is making me want to go back and play it.
Yeah, and it's like really tough. Like you really have to get good at if part of your snake isn't wrapped around the pole, gravity will pull you down and you will die.
Yeah, because like the controls are like you like coil and like twist, and it's about like tension. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, and again, it's like it's like as you said, it's challenging. Like you're like if you were looking at that snake, he would move like with the left analog stick, and maybe he might jump or something or do something. But no, it's not like that in this game at all.
It's funny as heck.
I'm gonna buy it. Oh, it's made by Sumo Digital. I did not know that.
Dude, Sumo Digital, secretly a great video game studio. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. So I guess we're back up to the Ninty. Adam, is there an obvious number 3 Ninty?
No, I think we're going to get into some arguments here on the placement of the list, because I think now is when we get into, we could have, I think, Mario Kart 8. We could have Smash Ultimate. Again, as everyone knows, I don't like Smash, but I'd be stupid to deny how much people love that. So I would personally go for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but go on, Jake.
No, please. Please.
But I think it's between Smash and Mario Kart 8 at this point for number 3.
Yeah, I agree. Which is why I'm starting a poll in the chat right now. Yeah, and I will be asking the audience which they believe to be better, Mario Kart 8. So let's talk about these. Let's talk cue the Phoenix Wright music. Jesus. All right, let's talk about this. In one corner, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is a this is a port of a Wii U game that was later
given. Breath of the Wild, might we add just if you want to.
That's sure. Yeah. That was later given more content through DLC. No, Jethro. I'm not leaving it in your hands. I'm simply collecting data. This is it's for our consideration. Nobody can force my hand.
We are the rulers of this kingdom. We will decide.
Yeah, but let's talk. So Mario Kart 8, port of a Wii U game, given some slight enhancements, but I think mostly bolstered by its inclusion of all of the DLC it received on Wii U, and then of course the extra DLC which it released which came to the game years after release, which makes it pretty much the definitive collection of Mario Kart content throughout the history of the franchise. I think have upwards of like 70% of courses that have ever been in Mario Kart, maybe even more than that. It might be significantly more than that. But at the end of the day, it's like how many cups ended up being in that game, Adam? 16?
Yeah, I've lost count, to be honest, Jake.
It might be 24 actually.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And please. Yeah.
I think this is where this will go down to 100% personal preference, and I think we will have to take the audience vote into like a lot of consideration. Is that I think both Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Smash Ultimate are in the exact same boat, where they are the ultimate collection of all of the content in the previous games, and potentially they could be. I think if Mario Kart 8 or Smash Ultimate came out maybe on the Switch too, they could have been sort of like the platform to move Smash and Mario Kart along a whole generation, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe didn't start to get DLC going in if Mario Kart 8 was on the Switch too, and they had already sorted all this stuff out, and Smash Ultimate before as well. I think they could have been almost the platforms. You know, like imagine if FIFA or EAFC now became EAFC, and it's not EAFC 24 or 25. It's like, this is Mario Kart, this is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and from here on, for the next generation, this is going to be the platform that we use to push these into it. And I think that's what both of them games done. And now I think it's basically, which do we prefer? I prefer Mario Kart. You prefer Smash.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that argument. I get where you're coming from. I think we need to talk about intention. And I think we need to talk about what these games represent. Okay? And I think like looking at them as kind of collections of everything that these franchises represent is, I think, a good way of looking at them. But I do think that there are differences between them. So first off, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I find to be a conservative Mario Kart game. Okay.
Yep.
In its design and in its mechanics, it is trying to create the most frictionless Mario Kart experience possible. It wants to be easy to control, easy to understand. I feel when playing Mario Kart, I did a stream with Josie Woe a few weeks back where we were just talking and playing Mario Kart. And Adam, if I'm playing Smash Brothers, it is so hard for me to carry a conversation while I'm playing Smash online. But if I'm playing Mario Kart, it is so unconscious. It is so like it requires such like little intention in the playing of the game for me that I feel like it is just trying to be a more comfortable experience. And I do think a lot of that is what I would describe as being like a conservative sequel. The anti-gravity mechanic I find to be boring. I don't know when it's happening except for when my wheels turn over. It's not interesting. It doesn't adjust the way that like oh my god, something is different now. I got to completely adjust the way I'm playing this game. It doesn't do anything.
Bumping into bumpers in other people's cars to get boosts.
Kind of. I don't find it meaningful. I don't know. I find those boosts to be negligible, and maybe it's because the person you're bumping into like also gets the boost.
Yeah.
So it's a little like I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I find Mario Kart 8 to be like a very good looking game, a very polished game, and I find that it is also just like Mario Kart TM. And there's not a lot to say about the game that I find is like particularly interesting. And then I look over at the other side and I look at Smash, and I think that you and I can maybe agree that it is a taller order to include all of these fighters in a single fighting game than it is include all of these courses in a racing game. I think you and I can agree that is a taller order. Okay. And I just think that what has been achieved there is it just works for everybody. It's just a beautiful game. It appeals to the casuals. It appeals to the professionals who now have their favorite game since Super Smash Bros. Melee. The casuals have this content complete game with every character and stage that they could ever imagine. I just think when comparing these two games, Smash Brothers had more to do. It was a taller order. It was a tougher task to accomplish than what Mario Kart had. And for that reason, I think I would put Smash Brothers over the top, because I think what the next Mario Kart game has to achieve is simply the introduction of a new gameplay mechanic that makes Mario Kart more interesting. Whereas what the next Smash Brothers has to achieve is far more than that to eclipse Smash Ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get your point, but I think that's probably just the difference in the types of games they are, because when I think of you like what you touched on there about having Mario Kart be a completely frictionless experience. Mario Kart has been a frictionless experience since it came out. Mario Kart has never been anything other than, yes, you can get hardcore and play some online and do some time trials or whatever, but Mario Kart is not a hardcore game. It never has been a hardcore game. I know some people might make an argument that Mario Kart Wii was a bit hardcore, but it was, because when you think of a hardcore kart racer, you think of Crash Team Racing, which is the best kart racer ever made, because of how deep its mechanics go, because how you can master absolutely everything in that game. And I think what you're talking about with Smash Bros is that this is the ultimate Smash Bros, and the next Smash Bros has to somehow top it, and it's going to be a very tall order. And you were talking about how it's a tall order to create all these characters and all that. That's just the nature of what they are, because fighting games have to be extremely balanced. Like how many fighters are in Smash Ultimate? Like 80 or?
Yeah, it's almost 90. Depending on how you count it. Yeah.
Yeah. So think of having to tweak each individual character, how they move, how much damage does this attack do? What does this do? Like that is an extremely tall order, and it is extremely impressive that you can make a game that is balanced, which I assume Smash Bros is balanced, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that is extremely impressive. But I just think if you're thinking of when I think of Nintendo party games, yes, Smash Bros is good for the casual audience, but Mario Kart is 50 times better for the casual audience than Smash Bros. This is going to be very controversial, but I have never had a fun casual experience in Smash Bros. I do not find Smash fun to go to somebody's house and sit down and play it. And I've done it. I've done it with Melee. I've done it with Brawl. I've done it with Ultimate. I've done it with Smash Bros. Wii U. I've never had a fun casual experience with Smash Bros. But I always have a fun casual experience with Mario Kart. And I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best of the casual Mario Kart games. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's bad that it's trying to be casual, because it is Mario Kart at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. I guess that there's just something about the ambition that bugs me, because Mario Kart 8 is a port of a Wii U game, and it could have done more to make itself different. It did not. Smash Ultimate plays so differently from Smash Wii U. The fundamentals have completely changed. And I know that a lot of people listen, there's always going to be a class of people that don't recognize that say, no, every Smash Brothers game has always played the same.
Yeah,
and I understand that. But I also think that Smash Ultimate said, okay, that's fine. You're allowed to feel that way. But for that person, there are things here that are undeniably different, from all of the different characters and stages to things like stage morph, Remember when Stage Morph was really cool? Remember Stage Morph, Adam?
No.
You're playing a Smash Brothers match, and in the middle of the match, the stage transforms into a different stage. That's cool. And I don't know. So I think I could talk endlessly about the things that Smash Ultimate did from its Wii U incarnation to this one that kind of make it different from a casual or from a hardcore perspective. Whereas with Mario Kart, I find that it is just as Mario Kart occupies the same space that Mario Kart games have always occupied, no more, no less, and I find it very difficult to name a single thing that is interesting specifically about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that won't be the case in every other Mario Kart game.
See, that's how I feel about Smash Bros. And it's because I'm not a hardcore fan.
But what about all the characters?
But we're talking about how much content that is in Mario Kart 8. Like, you're talking about, we have all these 80 characters. That is cool.
Yeah.
But Mario Kart has how many stages? 100? 100? I don't know. It's however many cups multiplied by 4.
Okay, I hear your argument, Adam, and my response to that argument is that anybody, you included, feels the difference more in a new character than a new stage. And if that's not the case, let me know. But I would say that you pick up a new character, somebody like Hero from Dragon Quest, and that is more materially different and new than any new stage in Mario Kart could ever be.
Yeah, but I think, again, that's just going back to the nature of the games. Even Kart,
okay.
If I take Crash Team Racing, for example, there's difference in if you use a heavy, light, or medium character.
Yeah.
And regardless of what stage you're on, the stages don't materially change anything about the game. You're still always trying to get the blue sacred fire. You're still always trying to take corners perfectly. And So I don't think that's like, for me, a barometer of quality in a kart racer the same way it is in a fighting game. Plus, I you know, I'm gonna really annoy people here, but like when it comes to Smash, I did get into Smash Ultimate for like 20 hours. I got kind of okay at Link, and I kind of started to understand how to play him. But to me, it's like you have Link, you have Cloud, you have Shulk, you have Marth, you have Roy, they are all the sword characters. And yes, I understand they're different. And with Shulk, you can change the different forms of the Monado. You can do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, they're all just sword wielding guys. And then you have Mario, you have Luigi, you have all these. They're just the Mario characters that play like Mario characters. So I think a lot of it for me is that I'm just missing the nuance because I'm not a hardcore player.
Yeah, I think you're making a good argument here. I'm also going to say that I think chat's making some good arguments.
Yeah, let me give.
Let's see. Let me read some messages here. Blue says, I think it's important to consider the Switch experience of breaking off a Joy-Con to share with someone else, which Mario Kart is maybe the best game to showcase this. Yeah, I think it probably is the best game to showcase it.
Yeah.
And then JP responds, single Joy-Con Smash is an experience.
It's a bad experience, I would assume, is it? But it's just so like such a like precise game, I guess, because like when I tried to play Rocket League with the one single Joy-Con, it's like, oh no, that's that's not it.
And then and I think what this is speaking to here is the frictionless experience and how good Mario Kart is at doing that, right? That you can play it with that single Joy-Con and it more or less works. Jethro says, I feel casuals would rather play a new Mario Kart 8 course than a new Smash character. They'll maybe try it once and then go back to their main. I typically agree with you there, but I also just think that a single new stage in Mario Kart has no value, and the actual value is in the total number of stages.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes, but is a single Joy-Con Smash a good experience? No, we all know it's not. We all know it's a bad experience. Okay, yeah. So okay, all right. I will say this break off the Joy-Con thing, it does speak to me because it is an incredibly important distinction as to how the Wii U version is different from the Switch version with that alone.
Yep.
And how the game is made better by virtue of the console it's on and better at achieving the thing it's good at achieving. Man, this is tough.
I honestly think we're at a fit like I want Mario Kart 8 to be the third spot, but I don't think having Smash as the third spot is a bad idea either. I think we might have to wait, before I do this, let me check the poll. Oh, it's 50-50, Jake.
I know. And the thing that I'm coming back to is, dang, dude, this is tough because I actually really like that splitting the Joy-Con experience and sharing it with somebody with Mario Kart. I do think that is really important. The thing I'm coming back to, and it's hard, is 8 years in the future. We're in the Switch 2. We're getting ready for the Switch 3. Is the game that people want to come back to Smash Ultimate, or is it Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? And here's what I'm imagining. The next game in both of these franchises has been released. Which one is more irrelevant? Smash Ultimate or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? And I don't know. It's so tough. It is so tough. I don't.
Yeah, because it seems like Smash is probably, now I'm not a fighting game fan, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Smash is like one of the only fighting game series where one of them has been the standard for years. Like they've played Melee since Melee came out, and that's it. Because it seems like, I know people maybe Street Fighter 2 might be in that same bracket, but like when a new Mortal Kombat comes out, nobody cares about the old Mortal Kombat. When a new Tekken comes out, nobody cares about the old Tekken. When a new Street Fighter comes out, nobody cares about the old Street Fighter. And I just think Smash is in just a completely unique situation there that no other fighting game franchise has ever been in. Now, I could be wrong, but that's just like from my outside perspective.
It's so hard, Adam, because I'm asking myself, are people going to see the new Smash Brothers game and go, oh, but I got to go. Everyone is here in Smash. I can't play as Sora in the new Smash Brothers game, but I can play as him in Ultimate. And is that important? Is that going to be the thing? Like, I do think that somebody in the chat made this point. Jethro, I gotta say, I have much more nostalgia for things about Smash reveals and Smash announcements than the Smash game itself, and I do think that is part of the thing. That's something too, actually. Yeah, that like there was a good period of Nintendo Switch time there that was carried by the existence of a future Smash. Remember that E3 where pretty much all they talked about was Smash Ultimate?
I hated it.
Right. They had that Everyone is Here trailer, and that was like a moment. That's part of the history of the platform. Man.
Yeah, so I actually think now whoever brought that up, that is an extremely good point, because even though I'm not into the Smash like hype and all that, I mean when that Sephiroth thing happened and Mario was strung up by the sword, like that is cool.
Oh my god, Adam.
I think that is on par with being able to split the Joy-Cons with Mario Kart 8. I actually think that has just completely leveled the playing field, Jake.
No, I know. It's such a good point. And Adam, let me hit you with this. The Ridley trailer. The Ridley too big talk. It's done with Smash Ultimate. Banjo-Kazooie returns to a Nintendo platform.
Yeah.
Sephiroth's reveal. Joker's reveal in Smash. Persona 5 not on Smash. Joker's in Smash. Sora. The Sora trailer. Oh my god, Disney, let him in. He's in Smash, dude. Like, I gotta tell you, 2 minutes ago, I was like, "Oh man, I think Mario Kart wins," and now I think Smash wins. Steve from Minecraft.
It's so tough.
I really think that is one of the most powerful, if we're talking impact, of the Nintendo Switch era. Dang, dude, like those trailers had so much work put into them. That was a part of being a Nintendo Switch fan during all these years. It was it was a huge part of it.
I think we have to give it to Smash.
I think we do, dude. That's crazy. I mean, I'm obviously the next spot is going to Mario Kart, but yeah, okay. So I think everybody understands how close that was and how the lines that we're drawing there. But
good discussion,
man. Those great discussion. And I think that those I think that those Sakurai presentations, like all that stuff is that's part of the Switch era. That's part of the Switch era. Yeah. Who knows if do you think we're going to get that again?
I don't know. I to be honest, I don't really pay attention to Smash. Sakurai, I know he's done, isn't he?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, didn't he put himself in hospital because he was like overworking and?
Yeah, but he's done that for 20 years. He's done that.
I mean, man. We're sitting here and talking passionately about his game, so I'm sure in his mind he thinks, "Oh yeah, that was well worth it. Nearly killing myself."
Damn, Sakurai, dude. Wow, I'm having nostalgia for Smash reveals right now, like a big loser.
Like,
my god!
I have the biggest FOMO. Oh well, no, not FOMO. I miss out on the hype because I don't really care about it, and it's almost something I want to be a part of because, as cool, like as I said, that Sephiroth trailer, that's just a cool trailer. Whoever came up with that idea, like let's have Sephiroth slice Mario in half, and I'm just like, oh, that is just smart.
Oh god. Smash Brothers.
And the fact that Nintendo allowed it as well is even cooler.
Nintendo truly showing what they are capable of with Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Sora still I can barely handle it. I can barely handle that Sora is in that game. Oh man. All right. Adam, we're going back to the Nanti side of things. What do you think? What do you think's next on Nanti?
I think we're getting into the part of the list for the Nantis where I think almost everything could be in any spot.
I agree.
And if I'm thinking what would kind of tip the scales in favor of the game, it's how Switch centric they are.
I like that. Methodology. Yeah.
And even though I've never played it on the Switch, I played it on the PS4. Okay. And I've heard that the Switch version is infinitely better than the PS4 version.
Yep.
I think it goes to Dragon Quest XI.
Oh, Adam, I can speak to this in a way that few others can. I had an itch maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and I was like, dang, I really want to replay Dragon Quest XI. It's free on PlayStation Plus Extra. I give it a download. I start the game up. Yikes. That is an ugly video game. I had no idea.
I don't remember it being ugly on the PS4.
Adam, go back. Give it a download. Start it up. You will puke out of your eyeballs. It is on. I literally deleted it. I saw the screen and it was like, go run across the bridge to go see your friend. And I said, absolutely not. Dragon Quest XI-S, game I really wanted to play. But Adam, I read about this. And apparently the Dragon Quest XI-S, specifically the 11S version that was made for PlayStation, is like uglier than just the normal Dragon Quest XI, because the S version is based on the Switch version and they're blowing it up for the PS4 visual. It's a mess. It's a mess, Adam.
I thought 11S never released on anything other than the Switch.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought that was a Switch exclusive version, but yeah, that game is really good. Very long.
Yeah. But yeah, so Dragon Quest XI-S, definitely best on Switch, and also has they made a version of that game for 3DS, and they said, hey, what if we just put the 3DS version that we made with like these 2D pixel graphics or whatever, and we just said you can switch over between these two versions of the game at any time. It's like you're getting two games in one. Dear God, man. So like you've got the console big 3D Dragon Quest new game on your console, and then you pick up your little Switch. You can keep playing that version of that game, no problem. Or you can literally switch to the game that was made for a handheld. Incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. I also just love the game.
Yeah. That's the reason why I've heard it's amazing on the Switch. It's a great game, if not a bit too long, but I mean, it is a Dragon Quest game, I guess. But plus, on the list, we only have one other JRPG?
Octopath?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, man. I was not like a big Dragon Quest guy. Oh, I guess I can end this poll for Mario Kart Smash.
Yeah, it was the first. It was the only Dragon Quest game I've ever played.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I want to see. I'm curious if people specifically. I feel like this is one that was maybe missed by a big portion of like the general Nintendo Switch audience. So I'm curious if people in the chat have played this game, if they liked it. So if you're in chat right now, if you're listening to us discuss, I would love to hear if you played Dragon Quest XI-S and what you thought of it. I will say, just having this trailer kind of like roll in the background, this overview trailer for Switch, it is reminding me of like so many things that I really liked about the game. They're demonstrating right now on screen the difference between the 3D and the 2D mode. And I think it is, to this day, so freaking cool. Like if a Pokemon game had this feature, it would light the world on fire. It would light the world on fire. And I don't know, man, like so much of this, not to be that person, but like so much of this is like, oh man, it's almost like a dream Pokemon game. The amount of stuff that they've got going on here. Like this trailer just keeps going. And I'm like, oh my God, he's riding monsters. He's attacking monsters while he's riding them. He's, getting into these battles. These guys look amazing. You got your whole party lined up there. Change between English and Japanese audio, if that's important to you. This is just like such a
English audio.
Me too. I love the dub
every single time. Yeah.
I love hearing an interpretation. I'm a sick freak like that. But 3 battle speeds, Adam. You don't like getting into these battles? They're taking too long? Don't worry. Put it on Magnifico mode. You can get through these battles in no time. Like, I don't know. This is such a complete game. This is like we thought of everything. We're addressing every concern that anybody has ever had about these kinds of games. Man, and it's just good. I don't know. I wish more. I feel like nobody played this game, honestly. I'm sure it sold well. I'm sure it did good, but I was like not part of any discussion group that played this game. Demigod Gaming says have not played. Blue says I played the initial release on PS4. JPay says I missed this one, but I've been wanting to play it for a while. No. Yeah, so a lot of people miss it. Yeah.
Jake, as of December 2021, Dragon Quest 11, 6 million units.
Is that good, you think?
Yeah.
I think that's good, right?
For a JRPG, yeah.
Yeah. I know the Dragon Quest franchise is very big in Japan, so I'm wondering what the breakdown is. Yeah.
Yeah, if you looked at like what did FF7 remake sales numbers, I'd say that's 7 million. So it's on par with
wow, hey, that's great. No, that's
JRPG,
amazing.
Yeah, I think like if a JRPG sells over 10 million, it's like holy shit, that's big. Because they're just waning in popularity as the year. Well, they've kind of gone back up. There's a bit of a resurgence, but
I think the thing I really liked about this game is that the typical Dragon Quest formula is kind of you show up in a town, you make a friend, and you help that friend solve whatever problem is going on in the town. And I kind of felt that every time you did this in this game, it endeared itself to me. It made me go, wow, I actually love this little story, and I can't wait to see it to completion. And every time I like made a little friend, I was like, I actually love that you are like a character in my little party right now, and we're going on this adventure. That young people coming together, being friends, going on an adventure. I think it's one of the best games to do it, honestly, in a long list of games that have tried to do that thing.
Yeah, because I go back to trying to play Trials of Mana, which was a remake of an older game, but that is everything that you just said there, but done bad. It's like every character you meet is annoying. You don't care about them. Every single it's the same thing. Like in Dragon Quest 11, you're doing the exact same thing. You're going to a town, you're meeting somebody, they have a problem. You're probably gonna go talk to some NPCs, go to a cave, kill a boss, and there you go. But in Trials of Mana, or how I cleverly titled it, Trials of Mana, in one of my videos, it just has no heart. And I think that's the thing that JRPGs have that kind of sets them apart is the heart.
I agree. I felt that in this game, and I like the point that Forrest makes. And the story just keeps on going too. I thought it ended like twice. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I remember that too.
I'm not a fan of that myself, but yeah.
I like that. There's one big point in the game where you think it's the end, and then something insane happens, and that really worked for me here. In this, I hear you. I'm generally a little bit like, okay, come on now. But in this particular game, it spoke to me. I thought it was done. I thought it was a funny way of playing with JRPG tropes. We will not be spoiling it, but I don't know. I just think if you're somebody who likes JRPGs generally, this is like such an easy recommendation. And I think if you're somebody who really likes Pokemon games but has never really played other JRPGs, this is maybe the first one I would point you to. It's like such a good. It's deep without being hard to access. It's like a really comfortable game, I think, to play. Yeah. So, really great game. Oh, God. I'm just going to wax poetic about every game on our list, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to be here for about 10 hours.
I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. That's a high recommendation, Jake. That's kind of how I feel about this game. What is, if somebody's like, I play Pokemon, but I don't really play a lot of other games. I don't know. What are you going to give them before you give them this?
Ni no Kuni.
Yeah, of course. That's what I know. Yeah.
No,
I downloaded that on my Switch, Adam. By the way,
if someone comes to me and says like, maybe not specifically Pokemon, but like, give me a JRPG to play. I want to see what a JRPG is. Dragon Quest 11 is the JRPG.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Cool. I don't know why this was playing at 480p for some reason. There you go. Okay. Oh my God, a little card game, a little mini game, a little horse race. Oh man, it's reminding me of that town where you. Okay, all right, I gotta stop. This game's too good, too powerful. Now, Adam, since we did two Ninties with Mario Kart and Smash, can I get the next Nanti after Dragon Quest 11S?
Yes. I nominated Dragon Quest 11, Jake, so you can get the next nomination for what you think should be.
All right. And for this, Adam, I would actually like to go to the survey, and I would like to read some responses. Because after Darksiders, there was another game which got a lot of attention in the which game should be off this list. survey. Okay. This comes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. God. Okay, because of how this is set up, I'm not sure who this comes from. I'm so sorry. Shovel Knight is a Wii U era game. I feel like it had its moment and faded before the Switch was even released. Shovel Knight had its moment on 3DS and Wii U. There are so many more significant indie titles with legacies tied to the Switch that are ignored on this list, like Hollow Knight, Dead Cells, The Messenger, Sea of Stars, Hades, etc. What do you think about those comments, Adam?
I get what they mean.
Yeah.
But if you were a person that so when Shovel Knight launched on the 3DS,
yeah,
I didn't have a Wii U at the time. I only had a DS. And
okay.
I went to buy it, but guess what? It wasn't on the European 3DS store, which meant I couldn't play it.
Okay.
And it probably released at some point, but it didn't launch day and date in the States and in the EU. So for me, my first time playing Shovel Knight was on the Switch. And I don't know if it was a launch title or it came out around launch, but that's why for me it's synonymous with the Switch, because it was the Shovel Knight treasure trove as we see there. So it's Shovel Knight with a load of extra content. And I know people will say Hollow Knight, okay, that's great. I mean, I think Hollow Knight is too long. It's a great game, too long. What other games were mentioned there, Jake?
Let me tell you, Adam.
Yep.
Hollow Knight, Dead Cells, The Messenger, Sea of Stars, Hades. Though, listen, I think Dead Cells is so overrated.
Yeah, I agree too. And Sea of Stars isn't a Switch game.
Yeah, I agree. It's on Switch, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I played it on PlayStation.
No, but I just mean, like, I understand it's obviously like it's a Chrono Trigger inspired game, which means, you know, it kind of has a home there. But when I think of old Nintendo games, I think of Mario 3, I think of Super Mario World, I think of DuckTales, them sorts of games. And the DuckTales remaster on the Wii U, fantastic game. And I don't know, Shovel Knight just combined all of those sort of old school 2D platformer sensibilities and made probably one of the best indie games ever made. Like, I think anybody could realistically make that argument. And it also spawned another thing about Shovel Knight. This isn't specifically about the Switch. It's just it spawned a franchise that not many indie companies do. Like, most indie companies will, you know, make one game in one franchise and then they'll almost create a brand new franchise, the next one, and they'll just keep going and going. But Shovel Knight has spawned how many spin-offs? Like, probably 5, 6 different spin-offs.
Whoa.
And Shovel Knight 2 still hasn't even come out. I don't know. I think Shovel Knight is like a sort of a capstone or like a touchstone indie game. And it's just the fact that I played it on the Switch is why I had it on the list.
Yeah, I get it. I get everything everybody's saying here, because my argument is that Shovel Knight was a extremely important video game in terms of being a catalyst for the indie scene and what was possible to what was possible for that scene. My thing is that I think Shovel Knight made its impact, and we were seeing the repercussions of that impact. We were living in a post Shovel Knight world far before the Switch came out. And I do think that its relevance was I think all of that kind of came before the Switch. Now, is that reason enough to keep it on off this list? No. But I do think that is a data point.
Yeah, because I think like Mario Kart 8, that's a game that launched on the Wii U, and so did Breath of the Wild. And obviously they're slightly different. Breath of the Wild was obviously launched day and date together.
Yeah.
But it's almost, I think Shovel Knight is almost like a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe kind of thing, where I think obviously Mario Kart's an exclusive, so obviously that is its home, is on a Nintendo console. But I think Shovel Knight's home is on Nintendo consoles, and then it's the fact that the Treasure Trove launched on the Switch or thereabouts. That is like, this is the ultimate version of Shovel Knight. and now you can have it all in one place. And you can have it in handheld mode. I know it was on the Switch or on the DS, but you can also play it in handheld and on docked mode. So you get both the Wii U and the 3DS experience in one.
It's so hard because I think in this person's list, when they run through those list of games and they say Hollow Knight, which I have my druthers with just as a video game, so it's not for me. Dead Cells, which I think offers nothing besides it feels so good to play. I just have no interest in that game. The Messenger, again, I don't know. It's just there's something about that game that like I feel it is more about like, oh, look at this indie game that's doing this thing that I don't know. Maybe I'm being too nice. I don't think there's anything about the Messenger that's like very important. I just think it's a kind of game that people like. And Sea of Stars, I think, came too late in the Switch's life cycle to be to have that kind of attachment to the Switch. The only one on this list here that I think I would personally say, yeah, I see that more as a Switch game than Shovel Knight, actually, I think is Hades. I do think Hades did have a moment with Switch because there was a time when it was on Switch before it was on the other platforms. It launched 1.0 on Switch and PC, if I'm remembering correctly. So a lot of people, the first time they played that game, it was on Switch. I think it was, this kind of roguelite that got people into that genre in a way. But the argument that Adam is making is that Shovel Knight is inherently a game inspired by this long history of Nintendo video games. So there is a continuity there that you can trace from all of these old Nintendo games to somebody picking up a Switch to somebody playing Shovel Knight, whereas you can't make that same argument of continuity for something like Hades. But then I would argue that Nintendo Switch so mainstream that I think we have already lost a little bit of that Nintendo continuity to begin with. So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I'd like to point out Jethro actually absolutely brilliant point. Shovel Knight showed us indies stand side by side with the big releases to make the Switch alive.
That's a good point.
And I think that because when the Switch came out, obviously we had Breath of the Wild, we have a couple of games, but what are the things that sustained the Switch for in between those times? We had Tumbleseed, we had Snake Pass, we had Shovel Knight, we had Snipper Clips, we had Fast RMX, like we had all of these indie games. And then it also breathed, and here's another thing, is that I think the Switch breathed new life into indie games that had already been released on PC and PlayStation. Because I know Shovel Knight you could already play handheld on the 3DS, but now you can play Shovel Knight at a console quality, even though, that doesn't really make much difference, but you can play it at a console quality on the go. And I think that is a massive thing in its favor, considering that it kind of, the Switch is an indie machine, and it was an indie machine for years.
I just looked up on Wikipedia the list of best-selling Nintendo Switch games.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know how much we can trust these numbers. I don't know where they come from.
Yep.
But I do know that this is a list of 91 games. If you had to bet which one is on the list, Shovel Knight or Hades, which one would you bet?
Hades.
Well, Adam, you would be wrong. Neither one of them is on the list.
Okay. That's a trick question, Jake. Come on.
I just thought that was funny that there's 91 entries, and I'm like, dang, dude, neither one of these games sold more than hit 1 million on Switch. That can't be true. That can't be. I find that so hard to believe. These numbers are phony, Adam.
Yeah, no, it would, yeah. I think you can take obviously the Nintendo stuff you can take as accurate because they release their numbers, but I can't imagine Supergiant are releasing their sales numbers.
Sure. What's rank 91? Oh, great question, Jethro. Let me check for you. 91 here would be Thief Simulator.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Shovel Knight sold more than that. That game launched on the Switch. Definitely.
You know what's number 85 is Enter the Gungeon, Adam.
See, it might be games that have official
I'm
sales
sure.
pattern.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Looking at this list, there are a lot of games that, a lot of Switch games. Adam, this is a big video game console. I tell you, dear God, might be physical numbers only. Yeah, I think you're probably right. No way Thief Simulator is on the list, but Shovel Knight nor Hades are not. Yeah, I agree. Enter the Gungeon, so good. Ooze's Charm, Forest. Don't even get me started. Okay. So Adam, do you believe that, would you put Shovel Knight after Dragon Quest XI-S? Is that where would you put that there? Above Cuphead, Binding of Isaac, Dicey Dungeons, Cadence of Hyrule. Would you, is Shovel Knight your guy?
Yeah.
All right. I'll give it to you. I've heard the arguments. I think it'll stand the test of time. I don't think anybody will question its placement. Now there are a couple on here I will not be I'll not have such a relaxed attitude towards. All right. The next Ninty game has to be I'm torn between three. I'm torn between 3D World, Ring Fit Adventure, and Legends Arceus.
I was torn between all three of them myself.
Okay, interesting. Let's decide the three then. So
okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's order the three. Yeah.
So I think 3D World, if we're talking about Switch, okay?
Yeah.
This would be my reasoning. I think 3D World is at the bottom of that. And it's not because of the quality of the game. I think all three of these games are absolutely fantastic, and 3D World is fantastic, and Bowser Fury is even more fantastic. But if we're talking about the Switch, when I think of the Switch, I do not think of Mario 3D World. And then we have to start to go into sort of the Nintendo-ness or the Switch-ness of it. And then you're in between Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is a game that I really enjoy. It has issues, but it's the best Pokemon game on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ring Fit Adventure, which captures that Nintendo-ness of a game that you will only get on that platform. And not only is it like, as we were saying, it's a good workout, but it's just how they somehow managed to tie it all together with like a cohesive art design where all these characters just look like they fit in the world, and there's just so much love poured in. Like you look at some of those other boxing games or something, and there's just no love put into them. They're just there as a way to we want to somehow get your Joy-Con interacting with this marker so that it looks like you've made a punch. But then Nintendo get their hands on a fitness game, and they're like, we're going to give you this absolute behemoth of this ripped god demon guy that has a six-pack, and we're going to have it so that different enemies are weak to different types of attacks, and each one of them attacks is a different like part of your body that you're training, and it just works so well together. So I think I'm putting in the argument for Ring Fit Adventure.
I completely agree. Ring Fit Adventure is the one here. And Adam, I think you made a good point with how I do think, while I've argued that Super Mario 3D World is an obviously better game on Switch than it is on Wii U, I do think it has the monkey on its back, if you will, of straddling the line between the two generations. So it doesn't have the same impact as it would if it was a new game on Switch, for sure. But for me, it's more important that Mario 3D World is on the list versus it being high on the list. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think, is a like really phenomenal video game for for proving that the Pokemon Company still has a little bit of that magic and is willing to take big swings with their games. And something that I think in this particular era, we were not sure about. But will a new Pokemon Legends game eventually come out that eclipses Pokemon Legends Arceus? Probably. But I think what's important about Legends Arceus is time and place, where it is in the conversation surrounding this lifelong brand and what it did to that conversation. And I think reignited a lot of passion in people. But as a video game that I think will not get worse with time. As a video game that I think will always be special for what it is as its own unique product, I think Ring Fit Adventure is the one that I feel most passionately about. I kind of love everything about it. I think it's really cool. I think like these little enemies, the one that you see on screen right now, like those little, man, those should be like little grunts you fight in Smash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the adventure mode, you just see them, you give them a little, like, I don't know. They're just good. Like all of this stuff that could be generic and stupid is good. Yeah, great video game. Definitely
I mean,
the top one.
Jay, just to put it into perspective, so
yeah,
like those little UI things of the person doing the exercises. Somehow, like they obviously take a lot of inspiration from the Wii Fit trainer, but somehow Nintendo have managed to make a character like that be iconic enough to put them into Smash Bros. Like, how does that make sense?
Wait, what do you mean?
Wait, the Wii Fit trainer is in Smash, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I just mean, so that the person doing the little exercises in the UI looks very similar to the Wii Fit trainer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just insane how Nintendo managed to make a character that is a blank slate doing an exercise. I was like, oh yeah, he's going to be memorable enough to put into a fighting game. And yeah, I don't know, Nintendo they're just magical.
Yeah. Oh man, these little weirdos.
And then I think we may as well do the next two since we're talking about it.
Yeah. And I just want to I want to address something in the chat right here.
Yes.
Hold up, we're talking about Super Mario 3D World on the list, but Wonder isn't here? How'd that happen?
When I read that,
yeah,
that was the first time I doubted myself with this list. I think everything that I have said of why a game should be on this list goes against Mario 3D Land being on it and Wonder, or being on it and Wonder not being on it.
Wow. Okay, explain this. Explain this right now.
Well, I said there, when you think of the Switch, or let's say you think of the Wii, and you think of Mario games, you don't think of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, you think of Mario Wonder, or Mario Galaxy. And then I said, when you think of the Switch, you think of Mario Odyssey, and not 3D World. But also, I think almost not exactly in line, but behind Odyssey, I think of Mario Wonder. And I think what I said in my review was Mario Wonder gave me the sense of adventure that a 3D Mario game does in a 2D Mario, and no 2D Mario game has ever in my eyes come close to a 3D Mario. And I think Mario Wonder is the closest a 2D Mario has ever gotten to 3D Mario.
I guess I just don't think Mario Wonder is that good.
Explain.
Yeah, okay. To me, Mario Wonder is just, okay, 2D Mario is just finally going to do all of these things that other 2D games have done since the new Super Mario Brothers era. Looking back on that game, I think it's like a fun go through experience once kind of thing. But looking back at it, I find that not a lot really sticks out to me. Like, do I really care? Adam, are you looking at like the Elephant Mario and going, "Oh, dude, that was awesome. That was a game changer, dude. Elephant Mario."
No, I'm not.
No.
But I would probably say that with a lot of 2D platformers that I've played.
So like, I have a hard time divorced from the conversation of like, oh man, giving us a 2D Mario game that isn't a boring new Super Mario Brothers game. Divorced from that conversation, I kind of have a tough time being like, let me tell you why Mario Wonder is special and important and great. And I think what's special and important and great about it is that we got away from that new Super Mario Brothers thing. And I think that's kind of it. Because there's a lot of stuff in the game that I don't know. I just find to be a little derivative or not interesting.
I guess like Wonder's thing is the Wonder Seeds, which I like. That is part of the reason why I think it's like as close to a 3D Mario as 2D Mario's ever gotten. because you don't, at least for a while, you don't know what's going to be around the corner. Whereas since the new Super Mario Bros, we've known like, oh, we're gonna get the the green grass world, and then we're gonna get the desert world, and then we're gonna get this, and you do get that in this game, but at the very least, like you will, I don't know, have some piranha plants singing a song, and I guess now that you have said that, Jake, that I think a lot of the reason why I love Wonder so much is because it isn't new Super Mario Bros. Wii or DS or 3DS or whatever one. I think I'll keep it off.
I like what Jethro's saying here. What you're saying sounds like what you said about Pokemon Legends Arceus, don't you think? 100%. I totally get where that's coming from. Let me explain a little bit better. I find the stuff that Mario does that's new to the game, I find that it feels like a gimmick. It feels like the Wonder Seed is the, you never know what's going to happen. You know, it's like, I think that the Wonder Seed is the most fun the first time you do it. And the more you do it, the more it just becomes something that blends into the background and you forget about it. I kind of wish the Wonder Seed wasn't there and the the levels were just designed in a way that was more interesting. That just because like when you skip the Wonder Seed in a level, to me it feels like you're not playing the level correctly. And I kind of and I don't know why they did that. Like, I kind of just wish there was like no, this is the level and it focuses on the thing that we think is cool, which is typically the Wonder Seed thing. And then I paused the screen here on this little badge thing. Remember this? That was a dumb experiment because you end up having all these stupid things that the levels aren't really built for. And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make it never makes anything more fun or interesting. It's just novelty. And I think Mario Wonder could have been called Super Mario Novelty. It's this thing that you get it the first time and you go, oh, that's neat. And then it doesn't build on that. It doesn't do anything like, it doesn't make me appreciate what I like about Mario anymore. It just makes me appreciate the individual novelty of these elements. Whereas Pokemon Legends Arceus said, Jake, remember when in every new Pokemon game, every single Pokemon would get a new sprite, okay? So even if there was a DS game and then another DS, Psyduck in Pokemon Diamond looks different than Psyduck in Pokemon Heart Gold. They have two different sprites. And it made it so I was excited to see Psyduck when even though I know Psyduck and I know what he looks like, I was excited to see the new version of him in this game. And ever since the 3D era of Pokemon started, I am never excited to see anybody because it's the same freaking expressionless, lifeless 3D model that they trot out and make me look at. And then Pokemon Legends Arceus said, hey, these creatures exist in the environment, they're doing stuff, and they react to your presence. There's different things that I come up into an area. I see Psyduck in the swamp. He's going for a little swim in the lake. He sees me and he freaks out. And he goes, oh man, I'm going to run away. And it made me, it recalled to me the emotions and the sentiment of seeing something familiar for the first time again. Of what it was like to have a unique experience coming back to something. To me, it said, what is the thing that people love about Pokemon? Seeing these things we love again and again and again and interfacing with them in new ways. And that's what Pokemon Legends Arceus is about. It's about, this is the same stuff you've always done, but now you can sneak around. You can surprise Psyduck. You can do, you can throw a berry at him. He'll go over and eat the berry and get distracted. And it's like, oh my God, you understand what is great about Pokemon. And what's great about Pokemon is I love Psyduck, and not only do I see him in the game, I see him in the anime, I see him in the trading card game, I see him in the merchandise, I see him in... That's the whole point of Pokemon, is can we hit you again and again and again at all these different connection points at this thing that you like. And Pokemon Legends Arceus said, here's a new way in. Here's a new way to see the thing that you already like. It understands Pokemon and puts that out in its game design, whereas Super Mario Odyssey, it's just a 2D game and they put Mario in it. It's just, there's nothing about it to me that is like, oh my God, you understand what Mario is, because nothing about the game is like drawing from Mario-ness, and instead the appeal of Mario Odyssey is the introduction of new gimmicky elements to make Mario interesting. And look at the boss fights, dude.
The boss fights are dreadful.
Are those the boss fights that are evolutionary designs of how this thing works? No. Because the only ways in which Mario Wonder is successful is in the introduction of gimmicks. That's the only way. It's so that's my Pokemon Legends Arceus over Mario Wonder argument. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I think Legends Arceus should be the next one, and then 3D World. I don't want Wonder on the list anymore. I'll stick with 3D World. So I think it goes Arceus and then 3D World. Because I think what you touched on there with Arceus is it's why Pokemon Snap was so magical to me as a child that I couldn't articulate. It's like when I got my N64, well, actually, originally my first exposure to it was the Pokemon movie. I had it on VHS, and there was a teaser trailer for Pokemon Snap, I think either before or after, I forget. And that was my first exposure to it. And then eventually I played the game and you're like, oh my God. It's like you were in a nature documentary. And that's exactly what Legends Arceus did. And it's exactly what Pokemon Scarlet and Violet don't do. And that's why Legends Arceus is on the list and not Scarlet and Violet.
Building your connection to a party member, to a Pokemon on your team, in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, for example, the only way you build a connection to that Pokemon is by using it in battle. That is the only thing that the Pokemon can do. In Pokemon Legends Arceus, I can take my guy out of his Pokeball and like he exists. And I can form a connection to that thing. I can throw him at a tree and say, hey, knock down that tree and pick up a little resource. I can throw him at some stupid thing that I see, and I can, like, that stuff matters. And that's like a choice that you make. You don't have to throw him at that tree. That game understands that giving utility to the creatures like that is a way of building that bond over time, in the same way that like having in Pokemon Heart Gold, like having that Pokemon follow you, the Pokemon you choose to have. Yeah, dude, it's so important. Pokemon Legends Arceus is such a cool game. Okay, cool. So I like those 3 spots. I think we nailed those 3 spots. I want to see what Jethro says. Okay, Jethro's kind of hitting me. He says I did some good stuff. I need to catch my drift of defining Mario-ness. I'll write that down, Jethro. That's a good idea. What are those games about? I'll have to conduct a study. Jethro also says Pokemon Legends Arceus is my all-time favorite game. I remember answering so as well in one of your previous surveys, but you both speak so well about what makes it magical. Cool. Okay, so I think we made our point. Okay. Let me take this. Let me do this. Let me put this in here somewhere. Okay. We're getting to the bottom of the list here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 games over here that need to be ordered. Which one of these games do you feel the most passionately about?
Well, as a game, I feel most passionately about Binding of Isaac.
For this list.
But for this list, I would like to go with a meme answer and say Darksiders, but I know that's never going to get anywhere other than the bottom of the list. But, you know, at least I tried. I think if we're talking about it in a Switch context, it's... See, I don't like Octopath Traveler 2.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I do not like it, Sam. I am.
Yeah. Let me do a quick Control F in the survey here for Octopath. Let me see what the people said. Okay. I mean, this person put Octopath 2 as the 7th highest game on their list. 11, 14, 7, 7, 7, 6, 6. Man. Okay. Okay, not a lot of specific responses about Octopath 2. Oh man, I'm surprised you feel this way, Adam, because you know who loves Octopath 2?
Who?
That YouTuber you really like that does the retro rebound.
Oh, Mr. Matty Plays?
Yeah, he loves Octopath 2.
Yeah, he is a serious JRPG man. He's played even through the Trails of series and all that. But I just think, like Octopath Traveler 2, okay, I love the combat system. I like how every battle feels like you're trying to do something. You're not just mashing buttons. Like you're trying to discover the weakness. You're trying to, there's something to do other than setting up an auto attack and then just going. I like that. The art style is obviously fantastic. The music in Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 is brilliant. But I just go back to how the game is paced and how it feels like every single time you meet a new character and you go back to play their prologue, it's just like, I do not care about this. Because the characters in and of themselves, from what I played, were fine. Again, I didn't see the end of their arc, so I can't really comment on that too much. But it's just the fact that the characters do not interact with one another that I'm just like, what is the point of having all of these characters and fleshing them out and not having their journey be like consequential? Like it doesn't matter what permutation of characters you have. It might change something in the end. I don't know. Does it?
Yes.
It does. Yeah. Okay, it does. But from what I've played of the journey, it's like you get some odd party chatter and that's it.
Here's the thing about Octopath 2. I recognize this now. It is a game that rewards you for liking it. And I know that might seem like a stupid statement to make, but it's one of those things that it's like, I almost wonder if Octopath has more in common with like Xenoblade games than I gave it credit for, where you have to accept the game on its terms. And if you are able to do that, if you are somebody that accepts it, you are rewarded handsomely for doing that. But if you can't give it that initial okay, then I get it, but you will never see the thing that those people who give it the okay are able to see. So it's
That's the exact argument I made for all the Xenoblade games as well. It's like Xenoblade 1 has a good start. Like it's nowhere near as slow as Xenoblade 2, but Xenoblade 2 is the one that I have the most experience with. Yeah. And every single time you have a conversation with someone about that game, it's like, it gets good after 30 hours.
Dude, I know.
Yeah, and like I totally understand it. Like I do. In any video I ever make where a game's like, it gets good, but you have to put 30 hours into it. It's like, I totally understand if you don't want to do it. Yeah. It's like, remember when we played Exoprimal, Jake? And it was like that.
Yes.
It was like, yeah, if you're willing to put in 10 hours to get all the stuff, it's good. But I couldn't blame anybody for not wanting to do it. So I think, like, Jake, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people love Octopath Traveler 2. I know a lot of people love it.
Adam, I think it's a game. Let me tell you this. I think it is a game that time will be very kind to. I think it is a game. Yeah. I do. I think it's one of
the Bravely series was the same.
It's going to be one of these things that years from now everyone pretends that they liked Octopath Traveler 2. And I want to be on the right side of history. Yep. So listen, it's not important to me that it's high up in this list, but it's important to me that it's on the list. It will be a video essay game. Yes, dude. Yes.
It almost kind of feels like Bravely Default, because I'm pretty sure that had something very similar. Let me look up the Metacritic, where it was like, oh, this is just like, oh no, Bravely Default got good ones. Then what game am I thinking of? Bravely Default got 85 on Metacritic. I thought there was one JRPG on the 3DS that was like, oh yeah, this game is just kind of a bit boring. And now it's like, whenever you look up a list of 3DS games to play, they're like, yeah, you have to play this game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's a game like that, and I think Octopath might be that. Maybe one day I will give it another go. I will, because it's a game I want to like. Because I like classic JRPGs, but I don't know. It just feels like there's better games that I could be playing than Octopath 2, considering how long the game is.
Here's my Octopath 2 pitch. Okay, so you have to be in the right mindset to read a book. Yep, that is true. If you don't want to read a book, you're gonna bounce off every book you try to read, no matter how good the book is. But when you want to read a book, That completely, yeah. And I feel that Octopath 2 is kind of like a book. I feel you have to be in the right mindset to give it 100% of your attention. And a lot of video games require 70% of your attention.
Yep. Yep.
And so it's because it is such an audio visual experience. It is, man, I don't know. Yeah. So again, it's important to me that it's on this list. It's not important to me that it's high up on this list. So I would like to keep it on the list, but I think it is important to me that it is above The Binding of Isaac. so yeah.
Okay. So on one hand, we have a
Yeah.
JRPG that has a good combat system, has brilliant visuals, and I think it's a great ode to classic JRPGs. But it doesn't exactly do anything new. Okay, would you agree?
Okay. Octopath 2?
Yeah.
But here's my thing is that doing anything new or doing anything excellently. And I do think that like this is kind of like a dumb point and it's neither here nor there, but I do think Octopath 2 has some of my favorite like JRPG like songs I have ever heard.
Yeah, well, so, that's like, a massive part. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's like almost one of the biggest reasons why people love Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and Kingdom Hearts. Like when I think of Kingdom Hearts, the first thing I think about is the soundtrack.
Sure. Yeah.
And that goes a long way in creating that heart, as I was talking about earlier. But Jake, on one hand, we have this JRPG. Okay, like I'm not gonna say it's a high quality game. On the other hand, we have The Binding of Isaac. Okay, which is one of the most influential indie games ever released.
Okay.
And it is one thing I want to point out about Binding of Isaac is I don't like grotesque things. Like I like Bloodborne as a game, but when you get into all the sort of nitty gritty of it with all the blood and the gore and the guts and the viscera and blah blah blah, I don't like those styles of games. But for whatever reason, The Binding of Isaac spoke to me in that sense. It's like you're shooting shit, like literally shooting shit. There's bumhole enemies. There's enemies that fart, enemies that throw up, your little naked baby that shoots tears out of his eyes. Just completely grotesque. You're in your mom's womb killing fetuses. It's a weird game. And the fact that I can look past all of that and find a roguelike that I don't think has ever been matched with the amount of secrets, the amount of bosses, the amount of different endings you can have, all the different permutations of items. You can have runs that are broken for many different reasons, and then there's also one thing that I love about it is that there's so many items that combine together that like there's this amazing risk reward system, which is sort of at the center of every single roguelike game, where if you do a deal with the devil, you might get one guppy item, which is your cat, and you have to spend hearts to get them. And the whole goal of that thing is to, I think it's 3 guppy items. I haven't played Binding of Isaac in a pretty long time. But I think it's if you get 3 guppy items, you then turn into guppy, and then you like spawn flies out of your mouth, and you just break the game, and it becomes so fun. And I just love that game, Jake. And also, do I have the physical collection? I do. Look, it gave me a way to get a physical version of The Binding of Isaac. And look, it's American.
Wow.
That should give me some extra points, Jake.
Okay.
This is just, I don't know. It's genuinely one of my favorite games of all time, and it's best on the Switch.
Wow.
Because the PS4 version, I believe, has broken trophies. But I mean, I guess it's technically best on the Steam Deck now. But that's the Steam Deck wasn't out at the time, and I don't know. I think if The Binding of Isaac doesn't come out, then I don't think we have this surge in roguelike games the way we do now. The way every single indie game has to be a roguelike.
I see what you're saying. I do think that impact is divorced from the Switch. Is the only thing.
I agree, but I'm just talking about
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. I think for me it's tough too, because everything you said, I would say pretty much the exact same thing, but about Enter the Gungeon. And I think something that frustrates me about Binding of Isaac is that for me, when I go back and try to play it, it feels so rudimentary. It feels so something that bugs me about that game is how you only have access to the 4 cardinal directions. upright, left, and down. And like in Enter the Gungeon, having full 360 control, I just prefer that. And I find it to be an evolution in its design and mechanics. And just like, if we're talking about just expression and I don't know, or even oh man, I don't even have the video up.
I know. Like, see, this is where it's like we're opposites of the Breath of the Wild. Here's the Kingdom argument, where I like the restriction of this game.
Mm-hmm.
That I think a lot of it is that, I mean, what's his name? Edmund Macmillan, is that the guy that made Isaac? He obviously, it's very clearly inspired by the original Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just, I don't know. I honestly struggle to put into words how much I love The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Like, the thing is, like, divorced from the Switch, it's probably in my top 5 games of all time. And also, I played a lot on the 3DS, for anybody that's curious. When you get to the end of a run in the 3DS version, and you're in the proper bullet hell bosses, the game runs at like 5 frames a second, and it makes it so easy because you're in slow motion, so you can just dodge around really easily. But yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, we can sit here and argue about this list all we want.
Yeah.
But I just think, and I'm the same with Binding of Isaac, where I just wanted it on the list.
Yeah.
I like, the higher it goes, obviously the better, but I just think it's a special game.
All right, I respect that, Adam. I respect that. We're combining our kingdoms here, and I think our
you have
kingdoms,
to be friends.
Our kingdoms must speak to our passions.
I mean, just look at Isaac; he's so cute. And my girlfriend made me a little Isaac teddy, and he was very cute. He even had the little teardrop.
Maybe I have to give it another shot. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. Okay.
I just think, I think Isaac just rewards curiosity like no other. Because I think, like the way people talk about Hades, and Hades is a great game. Like, it's obviously extremely high quality. It's just, I don't think it's personally for me. I could just appreciate the quality. There's no secrets in Hades. Like, in Hades, you're doing the same thing. You're going from floor to floor. I know it's randomized items, it's randomized upgrades, and that's obviously part of every roguelike. But there's just so much in The Binding of Isaac that even to this day, after I've put hundreds of hours into it on multiple platforms, I still find things that are new.
I know, because you and I have the same roguelite love language, which is we love the remix of builds and the gameplay experience, and you get a new item, a weapon or whatever, and it completely changes the game. We both have that in us. So like every time I pick up in Enter the Gungeon a new gun, I go, well, this is unbelievable. Because now the way I play the game is completely different in an active way. And I've never seen this gun before. And I've never, so I know, I totally get it. All right. I'm happy with
Binding of
Isaac being on the list.
Binding of Isaac a 9 on the Switch. There you go.
Dude, sweet old IGN. Who reviewed this? Come
Probably
on. Doesn't even say.
I would say it at the start of the video, maybe.
Oh, good call. Good call. You're right. Reviewed by, let's see, Jose Otero. Jose Otero.
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar, but okay. But yeah, okay. All right. I'm keeping it on the list, Adam. I was ready to have a to make a push to get it off the list, but you sold me. You sold me on the okay. So I think at the end of the day, there will not be any pushing off of this list. I think these are the games.
Yes.
Okay.
Until cool. Paper Mario 1000-Year Door remake comes out, Jake. Of course, that's gonna be number 1.
So let me pitch you on something here. Okay. So let's keep Shovel Knight at the top. What do you think of this?
Well, Jake, I think if I'm being totally fair here as my kingdom, I'm
okay.
I don't rule with an iron fist.
Okay.
I would put, for the purpose of this list, Octopath Traveler 2 on top of Binding of Isaac because it's an exclusive.
But it's not an exclusive.
Oh, well, disregard.
I mean, I would never play this game on to me, if you're not playing this game handheld, you're a moron. but it launched on PlayStation. I don't think
Yeah.
it's on Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it not on Xbox? That'd be so weird. That'd be so weird. I need to know for my own edification
No, I actually
right
don't
now.
think it is. I think I remember talking about it on an Xbox podcast I listened to.
Oh
'Cause
my
that was when
god.
like Square where I'm pretty sure because that's when
No,
like
you're right, Adam. It's
Yeah,
not. What a
Square, Octopath 1 was on Game Pass, but it's not on PlayStation, I don't think. PlayStation 4. Is it?
okay. I don't know. Bunch of weirdos out here. Oh, buddy. All right. Chat, what are you thinking? Yeah, but Jake, Binding of Isaac did it. Okay, yeah, Forrest likes Binding of Isaac. There's an item in Isaac that makes it 360-degree aiming. That's, whoa.
Yeah, there's one where you have like a mind control tier. There's just what
Yeah.
a game. What a game.
Okay, that's cool. All right. So, okay. Adam, I appreciate you being you being a benevolent ruler, but your reasoning for putting Octopath Traveler 2 on top of Binding of Isaac is null and void.
Yep.
So, would you still say that, or would you say that this is the way?
I'd like to keep that there. I mean, we're
Okay,
open
we'll keep
to
it there.
what the
No, it's
chat,
okay.
What the chat
keep it
wants to.
Well, I, you know what? Okay, fine. I'm happy either way, but we will simply let the chat decide.
Yeah.
Okay. So, top game, you're looking at Binding versus Octo.
Jake, can I just say, looking at this list here, I think this is a fantastic list, regardless of the order. I think this is just because when you look up like 20 Switch games to play in 2024, and yes, we have a lot of like obviously there's a lot of big ones that you want to cover, but like it's just a great list of just games, of loads of different kinds of games. Like you're not just going to get Mario Wonder, Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D Land, Mario this, Mario. Yeah.
Man, I had so much fun.
Jake, I just realized I have the chat open. That means I can vote in the polls.
No, Adam, don't vote in the polls.
Skew them to where I want them to be.
Votes are coming in. Matt, now I'm just thinking about Mario 3D World versus Super Mario Wonder. I just had so much more fun playing Mario 3D World co-op with my fiance than I did. We played all of Mario Wonder together, and we had a really good time. But we had more fun in 3D World. Better local multiplayer game, if you ask me.
I cannot play a platformer in local multiplayer.
I get that.
Frustrates me too much.
I get that. I find that 3D World the level design is built with multiplayer in mind.
Yeah.
So it just kind of works out.
I just think 2D in general just doesn't work as well in that sort of like screen share co-op.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Shovel Knight, Binding of Isaac, Octopath 2, Cuphead, Dicey Dungeons, Cadence of Hyrule, Darksiders. So now I think are these three in the right order?
I think so. And I want to start from the bottom up. I think Cadence of Hyrule was put on the list. I really enjoyed Cadence of Hyrule, but Cadence of Hyrule was put on the list because of the like uniqueness of it. Like think of how often do Nintendo give a license out? Almost never. And how often have Nintendo given their licenses to an indie studio and trusted them? So, but the more I went on, I played Cadence of Hyrule. I beat it once.
Yep.
Put it down and haven't touched it since. Now, I don't necessarily think that's too bad because I don't actually go back to that many games.
Yeah.
So, like, as a roguelike, I don't think Cadence of Hyrule is an amazing roguelike. But just because of how unique it is, I think it deserves to be on the list. And because it's not as memorable as I would have liked it to be, and because it's not as replayable as any other roguelike, I think being down the bottom of that list behind Darksiders, unfortunately, I think is a good spot for it. And then Dicey Dungeons and Cuphead, I think they're in the right spot, but I'm open to hearing because you like Dicey Dungeons more than I do. Not that I don't like it, but you just like it more than I do. So
I like Dicey Dungeons a lot. So here's my thing with Cadence of Hyrule is that I think ultimately it might be a 7 out of 10 game. But does that stop it from being on this list? No, for the reasons you said. It is unique. In the future, when you go back to Nintendo Switch, I think there's a reason to go back to Cadence of Hyrule because it will always be that unique. There's probably never going to be another game that's probably never going to, you know what I mean? So it will stand the test of time for that reason. But like on its own, am I like gaga over the game? No, not really. I like it. I like it enough, but I'm not like, I don't know. It doesn't call to me. Dicey Dungeons and Cuphead is such a funny conversation because I think that they're both special for completely different reasons. For me, Dicey Dungeons is so accessible. It's a game that you can pick up and play having never played a video game before and understand, or if you're somebody like me who plays tons of roguelites and just like loves them, it spoke to me as well. I think it's tough to find a game that speaks to me, somebody that plays a ton of games, and like my fiance, somebody who plays no games, in equal measure. And I think that that's really cool and special. It's like a funny game. The script is like really tight and unique. The art style is fantastic. And I think it's best on Switch. I think it's one of those games that like, would I ever like sit and play that game on my TV? Like, not really. But I love having it on the handheld, and I like having that option. So, whereas Cuphead is like, the thing I always think about is when you said in our original discussion, you can make the argument that Cuphead is the best looking game of all time. I think about that a lot. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. You can actually make that argument. And it's like, everybody will hear it. You know what I mean? They might not agree, but they'll hear the argument. And I think the thing that's tough for me about Cuphead is that I find Cuphead to be inaccessible in a way that I wish it wasn't because of its art style. I wish I could show, like, I cannot hand somebody that doesn't play video games Cuphead.
Yeah, you wish it was like a 2D platformer.
Adam, I wish it was anything so I could show it to people. But because of what it is, it really narrows it in. I do want to say that it looks like Octopath Traveler 2 has won the poll.
Yep.
So
that's
it'll be
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
No. Oh, whoops. So it'll be taking the top spot there, but no big deal. So I am happy to leave it as this, if I'm being honest. But because what's the difference between this spot and that spot, right?
Yeah. I think this is where you kind of get more into the wishy-washy. Like, I think they're more just the spots of, we recognize that you should be on this list.
And I do feel that Cadence is below these two, though.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
The only thing that's putting Cadence of Hyrule on it is when you watch in 20 years when someone is on YouTube, like Adzi Game and Junior or whatever, is making his list of games that you should buy a Nintendo Switch for in 2044. Cadence of Hyrule is going to be on that list.
100%.
Because when you watch them games, or when you watch them lists of PS2 games you should play in 2024 that are like more obscure, they're always the ones that, like, it's never a Sonic Heroes or a, I don't know, Jack and Daxter. It's always Klonoa or, one of them sort of games that are just a time and place and unique to that time and place, and that's what Cadence of Hyrule is. So that's why it deserves to be on the list. But then as like a game itself,
Like, was Cadence of Hyrule anybody's game of the year? No,
I don't think so. That's coming from someone like this. Is coming from someone who, like, I mean, Ratchet & Clank is probably my favorite series of all time, but like Zelda is my favorite Nintendo franchise anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I think we're happy. I think the Nanti list is done. Wait, do you want to make a swap?
Yes.
All right, I'll make that swap.
Darksiders 2.
I'll make that swap.
No, should be number 1 on the list. Or Darksiders. I even got the name wrong.
Wait. You want to put Darksiders above? No. Okay, all right.
No. I was only joking.
Adam, I gotta tell you, I'm almost wondering if we felt stronger about The World Ends With You than Celeste.
I think, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think I'm reflecting on our conversation, and I felt it ignited more passion from both of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, number 2 is still a very good spot.
Oh my god, an amazing spot. Okay, the Nantes. Dude, this is hot as hell, dude. This is unbelievable.
That's a good list. That's a good list of games.
Jeez, dude, you hand somebody a Nintendo Switch, they have all those games installed on it. What a machine!
And you know what they're going to say, Jake? They're going to be like, "Whoa, all these games are so cool." But I love the fact that I could play Darksiders in 2 different performance modes. And that's going to be the takeaway. Out of all of them games on that list, that's going to be their takeaway. They're going to tell all their friends about it.
Adam, let them come for us.
Yep.
Let them come for us. Okay. So wait, all right. Jethro, I'm hitting the hay. 3 a.m. here now. Oh my God. Great hosting, Jake and Adam. Good night, chat. Jethro, thanks for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it.
Enjoy your sleep. Don't let the bed bugs bite, as they say.
Thank you for hanging out with us for so long. JP, do I need to play The World Ends With You? I feel like I'm missing a life-changing experience. Honestly, yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, I think so. Play it in handheld mode on the Switch.
Put headphones in. Listen to the music. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now our last job here, I believe, is the ordering of these 3 games. Adam, I will say, I do think our biggest controversy here will be the inclusion of this title. And I just want to, again, back to the survey. We had a lot of people saying Xenoblade Chronicles 3. We had a lot of people saying Kirby and the Forgotten Land. We had a user by the name of The Hub World who said Fire Emblem 3 Houses needs to be on the list. It is one of the best tactical RPGs from a gameplay and story perspective. Plus, the game has 4 paths and fantastic DLC, a ton of content. Clubhouse Games, 51 worldwide classics. Great.
Not a hope.
Okay, great. All right. We had somebody say Monster Hunter Rise, one of the best action game series of all time. The weapons and armor are amazing. Nothing beats the satisfying loop. Tons of customization. Great DLC. If you haven't played a Monster Hunter before, you should try Monster Hunter Rise. We had Persona 5 Royal was suggested, even though it came to the Switch late. I think the Switch is the best platform for it. Metroid Dread was suggested. Big moment for older Nintendo fans to have a big new 2D Metroid game at the quality it ended up being. Mario Party Superstars. It's a good Nintendo classic. All the popular minigames from the entire series. Does anything shake you? Even for a moment, Adam, into thinking it should be replaced over Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope? If you say no, I will not question it.
I think the only game that I could take that off the list for,
okay, tell me,
would be Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Wow, 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I've never beaten 3. So that's as far as that goes. I've no doubt that Xenoblade 3 is going to be a fantastic game when I get around to beating it.
Yeah.
But Xenoblade 2 is probably the only one I would swap it out with. But I think it would be a massive shame. Look, we can have a conversation on if we can put Kingdom Battle or Sparks of Hope on it. Because I
would have that conversation. Yeah,
I love Kingdom Battle as well.
Yeah.
I think them games deserved. One of them games deserves to be on the list because it's, again, Jake, we go to that, 2044 what games to play on your Switch.
Yeah,
a Mario plus Rabbids game is going to be on that list.
Okay.
So I'm open to Kingdom Battle being put on the list. I just prefer Sparks of Hope because of the gameplay is much improved in my eyes. But I am a fair ruler. I have listened to my people.
I know. I feel that the impact of Kingdom Battle is okay. Let me talk to you about something here. All right, I'm pulling up the trailer. Look at this. You got Peach's Castle here. All right. You got the world little thing coming undone. Mario jumps in here. We have a little kind of like play toy aesthetic here in this Mario Rabbids game, this Ubisoft developed game. You have the introduction of Rabbid Peach. Oh my God, a classic character, should have been in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, if you ask me. Rabbid Peach, you heard it here first.
Rabbid Luigi is better.
Yeah, listen, I love all these guys. You have these little idiots fooling around with the Goombas. All right, they're going in. They're immediate allies. All right, hold on. What do I want here? We've got guns. The weapons are a lot better in the second game, I will admit. Okay. See, to me, what makes this game really work is that it is the fusion of the Mario world with like all of this kind of like generic maybe Rabbids stuff. Like we've messed up the Mario world. We've messed it up. Instead of Peach, you get messed up Rabbid Peach. Instead of, whatever you expect to see here, you get a weird rabbit version of what you think you want to see. And then if we go over to Sparks of Hope, I feel that you lose the Mario-ness of it, and it just becomes everything that surrounds them is just kind of like not as memorable or interesting. The like the Lumas in this game, what do they call those? The Sparks?
Yeah.
No, I just don't care. I don't care.
Well, Rabbid Mario.
Rabbid Mario's, they talk now.
Hey, I'm walking here,
they do talk. Okay, but like, okay, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you about something. This lady.
Edge.
She is nothing. I'm so sorry. She is nothing.
That is very true.
She is nothing. What a bummer. Like, that stinks. Oh, it's so tough. It's so tough. I think the thing that really that's really like killing me, Adam, is that like the first Mario Rabbids game, it got that Donkey Kong DLC. It was awesome, right? And I feel like every DLC that came out for Sparks of Hope, nobody really cared. It just like wasn't as inherently interesting.
Did you play the Rayman DLC?
No, I didn't play any of it. The
Rayman DLC was fantastic. Plus, it brought like obviously there's a small bit of I want Rayman back, and it brought Rayman back. I didn't play that DLC though. But that's not speaking to the quality of it. I'm just generally
I know what you mean.
Don't play DLC. Like it took me 4 years to play the Donkey Kong DLC for Mario and Rabbids.
I hear you. I just wanted to. Oh my God, Adam, come on. Adam, look at them.
Like, I didn't even know that they were in the game.
Adam, this feels important.
Yeah, that does feel important. What DLC were they a part of?
They were in the base game.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. You had to go really, really far.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I'm telling you.
They weren't. This is fake.
Wario and Waluigi.
No, it's fake. It's fake.
No, I know. I know. It's crazy.
Okay, Jake, you had me.
It feels important. Yeah. All right.
Are they real? Are they in a DLC?
No, Adam, they're in the base game, I promise you.
They're not in the base game, Jake.
Oh my God, Forrest, I don't remember this at all. You guys are gaslighting me right now.
Jake,
no, stop it. Stop it. They are.
They're
right before the end of the game. Chat, stop it. Oh my God, don't do this. Don't gaslight me. Yeah, okay, Joseph says there are.
No, wait, no.
Jake, they are. Yeah, Joseph agrees. Joseph is backing me up.
Waluigi.
Yeah.
And Wario. Shit. Oh, no, they... Oh, they're in Kingdom Battle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Were they in it? They were in the base game.
Yeah.
Why don't I remember them?
Dude, because that game is extremely long. It just keeps going and going and going. There's so much content in that game. But again, it's like...
Wait. Were they part of the story, or were they like optional?
They were in the story. They were in the story.
What?
Yeah, dude. I know. A lot of people feel this way. That's why I brought them up. And I think the point that I'm trying to make is that I think Mario Rabbids I think it just did a lot. It not only did it successfully combine these worlds in a way that made these games legitimate, you know what everybody really liked in Kingdom Battle? That boss fight with like the opera singer. Remember that guy?
Yeah, he returns in the Rayman DLC.
Yeah. And they brought him back because he was so good in that first game. And I don't know. I just think like there are things about the game that are improved in Sparks of Hope, but I think that the load times combined with the way in which it forces you to play more in those open world environments that are really not the attraction of the game. The attraction of the game is the battles. I think it's not a wholly additive, successful sequel. It improves in some ways, but I think it actually makes the game worse in other ways. And for that reason, I think that Kingdom Battle was just like a more successful game.
Yeah, but I wonder if a lot of that, what we're talking about, is just we're talking about impact.
Yeah.
And when
Okay.
we were speaking about impact, talking about Zelda, it's that Breath of the Wild. I know you said you have your issues with Tears of the Kingdom, but Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are two fantastic games. Two really, really high quality games. But the problem with part of the problem with Tears of the Kingdom is that it could never capture the initial feeling of Breath of the Wild because we already knew what it was.
Yeah, totally.
Whereas I think if we were having this conversation where Sparks of Hope was the first game, and the thing that was carrying it was the initial shock of, oh my god, Mario and Rabbids together. I don't think those issues with sort of the story and the areas and the bosses that you brought up would be as much of an issue than it is now, considering it's the second game.
What is the single best part about Sparks of Hope?
The gameplay, like the combat. It's which is which for me is what I want. I think the combat is just better because I keep saying expressiveness. People probably get bored of me saying it, but it's just the fact that you're not locked to a grid, that you have more options and there's more characters to choose, more permutations of different parties that you can have that all interact differently with one another, and it's that sort of thing that is the reason why Sparks of Hope is on the list for me.
Okay, I'll roll in. Okay,
let's see. What do the people say?
Oh, the poll.
Our people.
Only a few votes, but the people are voting in favor of Kingdom Battle. But the comments are saying Sparks of Hope is just the better game.
Yeah, because I think the difference. The reason why I lean into Sparks of Hope is because the gameplay is so strong, and the reason why you lean into Kingdom Battles is because it's more Mario-ish.
So Bison says the people don't want either Rabbids games on the list.
Well, the people don't get to choose.
The people don't get to choose.
We're putting you. We're making it look like you have choice.
I'm trying to decide if there's like one game that I would say I really, really feel strongly Nintendo game needs to be on this list.
I just have to look up. Are we talking about? Well, technically, Jake.
I know we're kind of cheating, actually. Now that I think about it,
Sparks of Hope isn't the Nintendo game.
I think because it's an exclusive and Mario is in it, we can put it in that category.
I just want to look up a list.
No, I know. I'm looking up the list too. So, like Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I don't feel compelled to put them on this list. Splatoon. Would you put Splatoon 3 over Sparks of Hope?
No, I just find Splatoon to be very iterative and also just extremely frustrating to play, because when you're playing Splatoon, it's really fun, but everything in between the matches is extremely boring.
Switch Sports.
No, not a hope.
Tropical Freeze.
That is a fantastic game, but it's a Wii U game.
Okay, so for me personally, I am seeing two games now that I think I would put over Sparks of Hope.
Go on.
We've discussed it already, and I'm fine with keeping it off the list, but I would put Fire Emblem Three Houses above Sparks of Hope. I would also put Pikmin 4 above Sparks of Hope.
I think I'd be open to listening to...
I would also put Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX above Sparks of Hope.
Oh, no. Fire Emblem, no.
No, Fire Emblem, no. Fire Emblem's out.
Sparks of Hope is a better strategy game than Fire Emblem.
Okay, sure. Okay, wow.
And then, Sparks of Hope, you have to take your fucking students out for coffee and...
I'll do it.
Eat lunch
happily
with them. It's like, I'm not into that. Because the thing is, I know you said the areas in Sparks of Hope are way larger and they kind of detract from the combat because there's more time
Yeah.
in between the combat encounters.
Uh-huh.
But Fire Emblem Three Houses is that, but multiplied by 50.
That's interesting. Yeah, I like it, so I guess I don't mind because I like having the I like talking to all the characters and like getting to know them. But if you just don't like that part of the game, then I understand how the game is absolutely painful. So I understand. I think it's niche, even if I liked it.
Honestly, Jake, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Do you know what game I would probably put on the list if it didn't run at 10 frames a second?
Adam, tell me.
Age of Calamity.
Oh my God, yeah, but you can't divorce that game. You can't. Yeah. No, I know. I hear you though. I hear where you're coming from.
So,
yeah.
I really like Luigi's Mansion 3.
Okay.
But I think out of all of them games, I think when you, as I said, when you think of a Switch list in 20 years.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is one of them games that's like, yeah, it'll be on the list.
Yeah, it'll be on the list.
But it'll be on the list because it is a great game. It is.
Mm-hmm.
But it won't be on the list because it's super impactful or it's extremely unique like Mario and Rabbids. Even if we're going to battle between Sparks of Hope and Kingdom Battle, you know, that's fine by me. But I think Mario plus Rabbids deserves to be on the list. And if we're going to take a game off the list, I would take Luigi's Mansion 3.
Oh my God. Okay, what would you replace it with?
It's so difficult.
What game should be on the list? Again, going back to the survey, a lot of people say Kirby in the Forgotten Land. A lot of people say Pikmin 4. Clubhouse games, Triangle Strategy came up a couple of times. Persona 5 Royal, Metroid Dread. Out of all Mario Party, all these games, I'm not called to put them on the list above Luigi's Mansion 3, if I'm being honest.
Bison, I see you. Bison says I'm masterfully deflecting this Mario and Rabbids hate. I'm a politician. I'll get what I want at the end of the day.
It's pretty funny.
For anybody that's wondering how far my powers go.
Yeah.
Darksiders is on the list.
Darksiders is on the list, and I have no problem with it.
Yeah. See, I like Pikmin 4 is totally fine until
it's totally fine.
And then you realize it's not fine.
It's just a milkshake, Adam. It's just a milkshake.
Yeah, exactly. You were tricked into eating a Domino's pizza. Oh, now I have to preface this. In Ireland, Domino's pizza is actually good, like good takeaway pizza. But it's like you are sitting there and you're eating like a really nice, like a wood-fired pizza with a nice crispy base and it has a bit of basil on it and it's really tasty and you're eating it. And then when you get to the end of it, you're like, haha, this was actually from Domino's. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is I don't know. Pikmin 4 is like good. And then it isn't. I meant to flip that analogy on its head. I messed it up. It was supposed to be the other way around. But I hope you get my point that Pikmin is good until you actually think about it.
Pikmin 4 is a joyful, nice time. It goes down easy, but that's it.
Bad aftertaste.
Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. There's not like peaks and valleys. It's just kind of like.
Well, there is a peak, and this is what I mean when you get to the
when
end
you beat
No, because you do Olimar's stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, this is what Pikmin should be, and that lasts for like an hour, and then boom.
Right.
Back down. Oh, Jake, I really don't know. Like, again, like Luigi's Mansion 3 is brilliant, but I don't think Luigi's Mansion 3 is better than Luigi's Mansion 1.
Oh, interesting.
I think Luigi's Mansion 1, oh my God, what a game. What a game. And Luigi's Mansion 3 is great, don't get me wrong.
Chat, what are we missing? What are we missing, chat?
Well,
but okay, so let me ask you, Adam, the list that you see right in front of you right now, what would you alter in this? What would you alter here?
I don't know. I see. Animal Crossing is a game that I put like 30 hours into.
Yeah.
And I think we would be stupid not to have it on the list.
Yeah.
Because not only is it Animal Crossing and it sold so many copies and everybody was talking about it. The time that game came out was absolutely perfect for Animal Crossing. And that's one thing that I think it should be on the list because, we survived to tell the story. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
when people are talking about a Switch list in 20 or 30 years, we will talk about, oh yeah, remember when Animal Crossing came out and everyone was in lockdown, we were all playing it together and I went to my friend's island, we were trading stuff. And I think we'd be stupid not to have it on the list because of that reason. But it's Animal Crossing and I'm not a massive fan. I enjoy it, but I'm not a massive fan of it.
So some people in chat are saying that what we're missing is Metroid Prime Remastered. Some people are saying that.
Metroid Prime isn't as good as everybody says.
Adam, everybody is just pretending to like Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime I remember I got the trilogy on the Wii in 2017 when I was in college. And I started up Metroid Prime. And the first 85% of Metroid Prime, I was like, holy shit, this is a 10 out of 10. And I've never seen a game go from a 10 out of 10 to like a 7.5 out of 10 in such a short span of time. And that is the experience of Metroid Prime. And we all know the part where you basically have to back, and I know it's a Metroidvania, but you have to backtrack arbitrarily to areas and you don't know where you need to go. You do not have a clue where you're supposed to go. And you're just supposed to somehow understand it. And then it's just ruined it.
Metroid Prime will be always one of those franchises that I just have to pretend to care about because I'll never understand. You give me Metroid Prime and you give me Batman Arkham Asylum and I see a masterpiece and I see a poor imitation. I don't understand how people are like, dude, the vibes. It's so
no. The atmosphere in Metroid Prime is unbelievable. That's what I mean. It's like it's so good for the first 80%, but then the rest of it, you're like, oh, just let me finish this fucking game. Oh my God.
I'm glad people feel that way. I have no attachment to
I'd
generic alien world number 9.
Yeah, I'd quicker put Dread. Like Dread is a really good game. It's just I prefer the Vania side of Metroidvanias.
I actually much prefer Dread to Prime.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Jake, I don't know. Like if it was my personal list, I would take Luigi's Mansion 3 off. Well, if it was my personal list, I'd take Animal Crossing off it just because it's not really a game that speaks to me. But I think it should be on the list. But I'm open. But
it's tough here. It's tough here. Yeah. Because these are the games that get to be on the list that are at the kind of like excluding other games kind of thing.
Look, I can't believe that people do not agree, or don't want a Mario plus Rabbids game on this list.
I just feel stronger about Kingdom Battle, but
no, I understand if it's between you want Kingdom Battle over Sparks of Hope, but the fact that there's people saying that Mario plus Rabbids shouldn't be on the list, a game that combined Ubisoft and Mario characters together in a strategy game with guns, and it actually turned out to be pretty great, and they don't want it on the list. I don't know. So Jake, what are we doing?
This is when I broke. This is when I've revealed my true feelings about Metroid Prime. So that's why I need Metroid Prime 4, Adam, because I'm hoping maybe a new Metroid Prime game will get me to see the light. And
what about a Nintendo Labo Toy-Con vehicle kit?
That doesn't. I don't know. I don't think it was special enough for the amount of work that asks you to do.
Yeah. I did enjoy building it though. I did buy it and then I threw it out. What about Endless Ocean Luminous? Detective Pikachu Returns? I think is that the list?
I think this is the list.
I think that is the list.
All right. Okay. No, okay, chat's freaking out about me, about my Metroid Prime take. I don't know, man. I wish I had something better to tell people than I just simply don't find it compelling. I'm not even willing to say that I think it's bad. I just don't find it interesting. And I don't know. I guess maybe I just don't like scanning stuff at them.
See, I wonder, Jake, is it just the fact that Metroid was a gritty game on an otherwise family-friendly console?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why it stood out a bit. Because even in my mind, when I think of 2D Metroidvanias, I like Metroid Dread, I like Samus Returns, they're fine, but they don't hold a candle to the other 2D Metroidvanias. Like, Symphony of the Night is infinitely better than Super Metroid.
You know what I need, Adam? You know what I think is important to me? I think I need a strong narrative thrust. I need a strong premise. I need the game starts, and the reason you are doing what you are doing, there's a compulsion to go forward. And I think in like Metroid Prime, a lot of it is just like, you're on your own. Everything is quiet. Go figure it out. And I'm just like, I feel like you want me to you are asking me to do the work for you of figuring out why your game is interesting. And I don't know. That's just, I understand why some people like that, but not me, not Jake. Jake, I like I like the thumb of the author pushing me in. Yeah. So that's it. Okay. Endless Ocean would be good if it was $15, says Bison. Hysterical. That would be an amazing $15 game. Everyone would buy it. All right, so I think this is the list. Adam, do you agree?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty okay with the list. I mean, maybe as I go through my library over the next year and kind of beat it, I think a Xenoblade game will end up on the list. I think I will have to make an argument for that at some point.
Adam, then I think we should have. Then I think maybe we will have another meeting and we will adjust the list. And I think maybe we should both commit to playing the same Xenoblade game.
Well, I've started Xenoblade 1.
Okay, I'll start it.
Yeah, I own all three, and I want to play all three this year. Now, whether that's going to happen is a whole other story.
Interesting. All right. Listen, I'll play Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered, and then we'll talk. We'll see.
Yeah, definitive edition.
All right. And just to give a little nod to Luigi's Mansion 3, because we didn't talk about it too much. Arguably the most visually compelling game on the platform. Great, like memorable in terms of its animations and like goofy little cartoon storytelling. I really like Gooigi. I think Gooigi is like a fun invention that's very memorable and serves like a fun purpose too of being like kind of a compelling way to play that game 2-player. And I kind of think every boss in that game is memorable and fun in its own way. Just a cool, nice game, I would say. Luigi's a cool guy. All right. Oh, man. This is unbelievable. All right, Adam. The top 10 Ninty games. Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Ring Fit Adventure, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Dear God, what a list. Oh, mama. Okay, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Luigi's Mansion 3. Any compulsion to put Luigi's Mansion 3 above Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Me too. If Animal Crossing's multiplayer was a little smoother, I think I would put Animal Crossing above it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about Animal Crossing. It's fun until it isn't, because then you realize that they just don't care about your time.
Yeah, it's fun until it isn't, dude. Yeah.
It's fun until having to pick something up and walk back into your house, load into your house, put something in a chest, come back out, pick something else up. You can't stack certain things together.
Yeah.
When you go to an island, it takes 45 minutes to get to the island. Somehow it's like I could literally get a plane from here to London in that time as it takes to get to my friend's island. And
one day we will have an Animal Crossing that is so obviously the best Animal Crossing game, and it will be incredible.
Yeah, and it will be, but I don't know, isn't that whole the part of like the Animal Crossing philosophy is like just taking in, like, stopping and smelling the roses. I think that is the part, like it's deliberate. Like, it's been an issue with the series since it launched, and they've made certain things a bit more streamlined and a bit faster, but even in New Horizons, it still feels extremely tedious. Because I don't mind doing the stuff like chopping down a tree. That's, you take 4 hits to chop down a tree, or you shake a tree, you pick up the apples. I don't mind doing that. But it's just all those little things that just kind of make the experience just so slow.
Yeah, this is a conversation for another day, but I do think that there's like a dream Animal Crossing game out there that focuses a lot on just being like a very compelling social space. And Adam, I would love an Animal Crossing game that, like, kind of like City Folk, where you go into the town and there's like these different places that are updated, and maybe they're like online events. And could you imagine an Animal Crossing game where you go into the city and you see other people online, kind of like the Street Fighter Battle Hub?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you go there, you see other people, and it's got like an arcade, and at the little machines, there's like old Nintendo games. And I can meet up with you, Adam, at an arcade in Animal Crossing, and we play Mario Kart 64 together in Animal Crossing on an arcade machine. You know what I mean? Like that could exist. They could do it. They could do it. And just like, there's a way to make that game really cool. Just in a modern way. But again, a conversation for another day. All right, I love it. And then the Nanti list. The World Ends With You. Oh, that's good. Celeste. Dragon Quest 11S. Dear God, what a list. Shovel Knight. Octopath Traveler 2. Oh my God. Binding of Isaac. Cuphead. Dicey Dungeons. Darksiders. War Master.
Woohoo!
And Cadence of Hyrule. These are your top 10 Ninties and your top 10 Nantis. Adam, we've been here for many moons, as some would say.
At least 2.
Yeah. Oh my God. We've been here for a long time. This was quite a stream. Any closing thoughts, closing remarks? How do you feel about our kingdom?
It is prosperous for now.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Oh, Bungle, you're going to have a great time going back on this stream and listening to us talk about Dragon Quest 11S. Because we really got into it. Wow. Bison says, what an epic deliberation between 2 gaming industry heavyweights. Well done, gents. Wow. I hope this was fun. Obviously, the list is a fun way to have a discussion like this, but I hope, if anything, you learned a little bit about our perspectives and how we consume games and think about them. This was really fun. We actually, in our final moments here, we got a super chat. Thank you so much, Shane, tuning into the live stream. We love having you here. For $5, Shane says, I have to give some love to Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Listen, in the episode 2 weeks ago, I tried to get it on there, but Adam's Kingdom said, not here, dude. There are 3 houses, none of them in our kingdom.
Yeah, you missed it. Jake, you missed the clause.
I know, I'm getting there.
No, in our contract, you missed it.
I missed it.
When we join kingdoms, all super chats are mine. Yeah, you missed it. Thank you for the donation, Shane Bentley. That will go towards buying me a nice coffee.
Wow. I have to give some love to Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It was my introduction to the series, and I really enjoyed the story. Engage was a letdown. Dude, Shane, right there freaking with you, dude. I picked up Engage maybe like a full year after it came out, and I started playing it, and I was like, this sucks. It was that narrative. That's what the propulsion of 3 houses. Like Pokemon, dude. Pick your starter. Pick your house. These are your boys. Screw those other guys. Go kill them. I was so into that, dude. I was like, yeah, go team, dude. Man, they threw it all away. Hey, are you familiar with Marth from the Super Smash Brothers franchise? Dude.
The Smash Bros character?
Yeah, exactly. Awful, dude. Awful. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this extremely long live stream. The first ever live episode of Catch My Drift. Adam, thank you so much for coming over to my channel and spending your evening with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Adam, I heard you have a new channel.
Oh, really?
I think I might put the I might put the link to it in the description below.
I mean, if you really wanted, that would be much
I would love to. Because I think people should subscribe to your new channel.
I mean, they probably should. I mean, look at this. Hopefully I don't break anything. I bought this for a new channel.
Oh my God.
CRT. It weighs like 11 kilos.
That's hysterical.
And I play retro games. So yes, I have a new channel.
How do they find your channel besides the link I'm going to put in the description below?
I assume by just searching Retrobution. Retrobution. Imagine retribution, but with an O instead of an I.
I love it, Adam. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. All right.
Jake made the art for it, actually.
Oh yeah, I guess I did. It was a team effort.
Well, you're being quite modest there, Jake. But
so everybody for real, go. We're gonna go find. I'm gonna put it once this turns into a video. I'm gonna put Adam's link in the description below for Retribution. And please go subscribe. I really love that first video you've already got up there about Star Wars Episode 3, the video game. The PS2 and the DS versions are in that,
and the
right?
DS version, yes.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And now the last thing we're gonna do here, how we're going to end this stream, Adam, is that I have found that there is a way to raid other channels on YouTube. So I'm having a live stream. Another channel is having a live stream. I'm going to send all my people watching us over to their channel. So I would like for the first time to attempt this. I've never done this before, but I'm hoping that my viewers will go with me on this journey. They will raid this channel. They will show up. They will say Jake sent us, and maybe a fun emoji of their choice.
How do we find someone to raid?
Oh, I've already done it. I already know who we're raiding. Who we're raiding. Because I went over and I just saw I wanted to know who was streaming. And I was like, is anybody streaming right now? Oh, dude, let's go. Let's go, baby. We're going to do it. All right, we're going to do it. Let's see. Okay. So Jake sent us. Exactly. That's what I'm looking for. The chat understands. Okay. So Bison, you're ready. JPay's ready. Oh my God, the crocodile emoji. Okay, this is good. I do like that funny green guy that Bison has here. So I'm going in and I'm going to make it so that you don't have to go anywhere. It's a redirect. You go into the settings and you redirect. So here we go. Okay. I'm putting it in right now, but I'm sending everybody over to, guys, the channel I was going to send you to, they don't have redirects on. So I can't do it. So we could still do it, but you would have to manually go over to the channel. Do we feel compelled to do that? We can do it. Let's go. No, Jake, surprise us. How do I get there? No, I know, Forrest. I know. So if I just put the link in the chat, is that enough, do you think? Is that enough for everybody to click the link, go over, say Jake sent us? Drop the link, we'll go. Okay. It's so we're gonna raid Remap Radio. Okay. So this is Waypoint, Vice's Waypoint. After they got fired, not fired. After they shuttered Vice's gaming channel, they formed Remap Radio. It's one of the only video game podcasts I listen to. I love it very much. They don't know me at all. I think one of them follows me on Twitter. Okay. So we're gonna raid Remap. And just everybody show up. I know when they stream on YouTube, they don't get a ton of people. So I think this will be a lovely surprise for the Remap Radio community. So that's what we're going to do. They have a stream that is starting in exactly 7 seconds. So I think this will be great for them. The second they start up, they're going to get a ton of people coming into their stream saying hello. So everybody remember, I'm going to be over there on the stream too. So you'll see me in the comments or you'll see me in the chat. We're going to raid Remap Radio, go in the chat, say Jake sent us, and a fun emoji. I'm going to put the link there, so that should work. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to wrap up the stream now. Thank you so much, Adam. Remember to go follow Retribution on Twitter when you get the chance. And again, this was a super long stream. I appreciate everybody watching this through. We will see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.